All right, you're ready for the spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie,
if you haven't seen, we're in our spoiler discussion.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the movie, don't watch this.
Or if you haven't seen the movie but don't care about spoilers, because I know there are some people who are fucking weird who say that spoilers don't ruin a movie. In fact, makes it better for them. I don't get you. But
I don't totally
really
not
you
get
don't
you,
get
but
me?
I do. I like that.
Yeah, no, I don't give two shits about spoilers.
Okay.
Oh,
well,
let's spoil Godzilla.
I get what people mean when
Okay.
they say that, like when it comes to like I do like that initial bit of surprise, but then I like to come back to movies later when I know everything and appreciate more about it.
I just wanted to know. So how long have you been on Earth? Do you like our food? Do you enjoy our customs? Are there customs?
Your cling to tribalism is kind of stupid. So
look, all I'm saying is that the biggest spoiler is that Thanos had 5 anuses.
okay, not 4. It was
Not
5.
4, it was 5.
There was
I led you along.
there was a secret 5th pucker in the 4th pucker.
It was in his chin.
All right, so let's start. So let's go through the film.
Do we want to go chronologically?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, let's try and do this chronological.
Yeah, because
Okay.
at this point, trying to do a review of the movie proper, like these are like the way that we did the Broly one was we literally just started from the beginning and went through it and then gave our kind of overarching thoughts at the end. So yeah, the opening scene.
Is cruel.
It's very cruel.
Wait, what was the opening scene?
It
Hawkeye's
opened with
family.
And
Yeah,
the whole time I was
holy
like, this is
shit.
mean.
was
This is
just-
really mean.
So I want you all to understand something. When we went into this movie theater, they have like little they have the little scenes of everyone's reaction before the movie actually started.
Yeah.
And there was this one kid. It was a video of a kid sitting in his chair in the back of his mom's car.
Yeah.
5 minutes on him looking like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one. There's a little girl who came out of Infinity Wars, like they're all dead.
No, but my favorite fucking part out of that 5 minutes with that kid is the mom. At the last second, you just hear the mom go, "It was just a movie."
Yeah.
That kid was that movie for the first act.
Oh
Yeah. So, so I didn't realize that Clint lost his family. So in the opening scene,
Honestly,
Good job, movie. You made me give a shit about Hawkeye.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So in that opening scene, we see Clint just hanging out with his family,
Just
They're
being a dad.
Yeah, having a barbecue, teaching his daughter how to shoot an arrow,
foreshadowing the Hawkeye series on Disney Plus.
and then, oh my God, and then his family disappears.
Starting with his daughter, his oldest daughter.
You watch
and
the ash.
you
just
see
slowly
the
go
ash
away.
go away, and
Yeah,
I was
like-
just like, "That's mean,
It's
man."
really mean. And then he turns around and looks for his other family, and they're gone. And then he's like, "Wait, something."
They
real
just
fucked up
disappear.
here.
What's so sad is
He doesn't
he's
see
frantic. They always disappear just out of his periphery vision. That's
Yeah,
the
he
fucked
doesn't-
up part.
he doesn't
He
even get to
just
see them
misses
go.
them, and he just sees ash.
He
That is
doesn't even get to be like be there for them in their final
exactly.
moments
That's
of
the
existence.
fucked up part.
Yeah, like as soon as that scene started, I was like, "Oh, this is." Mean.
I thought it was after. I thought it was after the snap. I had no idea that
No.
this was leading up to the snap.
No.
Which, granted, pardon, sets up for
Clint.
Clint. Sorry, yeah, Clint. Sets
Hawkeye.
up for Clint. Yeah, okay, yeah. Sets up Hawkeye for the rest of this film.
Yeah.
And
Had
he
a great arc.
Yeah, by the way, so Clint in this film
Is the kind of the MVP.
Yeah, he becomes the fucking Punisher with a sword.
He becomes Ronin,
Yep.
sir.
God,
Dude,
no,
he becomes Scorpion.
that was fucking.
He just needs the chain spear.
All he needs is the chain spear, and he's fucking Scorpion. Not kidding.
Yeah, and his whole bit. We're getting off
All right,
topic
all
when
right,
we
all
get
right.
covered.
Let's rein it
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
But
So-
yeah, like we just see him like reacting to his family disappearing and him not knowing what the fuck's going on, and then we immediately cut to Tony Stark on the ship with Nebula, and like they're-
horribly emaciated. Like he was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
A lot of
Robert Downey
CG going on
Jr.
there.
Robert Downey Jr. was going all Christian Bale on
Oh
us.
no, that
That
was
was
CG.
CG.
I know it was
Yeah.
CG, but still.
Yeah.
I'm just like, God damn.
Yeah.
21 days in space, just drifting in deep space.
yeah, and like like there's nice moments of him and Nebula bonding.
Yeah.
With
With a little game of foil football.
And then like
Yeah.
a nice small thing where like he's offering her food and she's like, "No, you eat," because she doesn't need as much food as him, and she's watching him die.
Yeah.
It's really so. It's a very dark and depressing scene. But here's the thing: I knew that he was going to get saved.
Obviously.
I mean, like, but it is a hard scene to watch, and especially with the last message that his quote unquote last message that he's sending Potts. And then he's saved by Captain Marvel.
Yeah, Captain Marvel shows up, and then you realize that that scene at the end of Captain Marvel where she just shows up. That's not a scene that's in the next movie. That just happened like outside of this movie.
Yeah.
They like she showed up and then she helps them out.
Yeah.
And it helps get Tony, bring him back and all that shit.
Yeah, so
And then he has resentment and fucking hates everyone.
Yeah, he's
He's bitter as fuck.
At first he's happy to see like Steve and all that
And
but,
Pepper and
But then you see him like and that's when you really see how emaciated he is.
Yeah.
And he's like a fucking dying rock star on coke.
So
which, Robert Downey Jr. But yeah, no, it's a really hard scene to watch, actually.
It is.
Because
just see him lash
he's
out
so
at
mean,
everyone.
Yeah.
yeah, and you can tell that this is a man who is he finally
broken.
he finally broke after all these films.
You thought you saw Tony break, but he's never broken like this.
You want to talk about the man who said, "If we can't protect the Earth, you better damn well."
Sure, we'll avenge it.
Yeah, sure we'll avenge it. No, this is a man who's lost that fire and lost that spirit, and it's a hard scene to watch.
That moment where he's just like, we always do this after the fact, right? We always do it after the fact and never fucking preempt for it.
Yeah.
Never.
I said we needed to build a suit of armor around the world, and you said no, and look what happened.
Oh, and Zito, you might want to talk more into the mic.
Yeah.
My mic keeps moving is the problem.
It's a loose stand.
Oh, okay. And like seeing him lash out in how harshly he does, which he usually does not do. And he's having a rough time.
This was vitriol, venomous lashing out at almost everyone, but specifically at Steve.
Yeah. And you know what? In that moment, you understand and you feel that it's not uncalled for this anger and this sadness. You feel it, you understand it, and it And here's the crazy thing. That scene all of this leads into them going to find Thanos.
Yeah,
Well-
they go look for him.
Well,
Yeah.
there was something in just before that scene that you really get a feel for how broken it is, because the first two things he says when he sees Steve when he gets off the ship is, one, it's good to see you, and immediately afterward, I lost the kid.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I lost the kid.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Losing Peter was what did it.
Yeah. Actually, losing Peter feels like it is the thing that kills him.
Yeah,
Yep.
because Peter like was the future basically.
Yeah.
Like again, I covered it in my video. Like Peter is the best of him.
Actually, if you think about it, there's that shot where he's talking to Captain Marvel, and he's like, "No, you're the new blood. You're the one who's going to take this over. But the rest of us, we're done.
Yeah,
we're done."
Yeah, it's kind of a meta thing where he's
And-
like,
Yeah.
we need new people like you.
And that is the sign. This isn't a guy who's saying, "No, you're the future, and we need to leave this up to you." This is a man who's like, "I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
you're
And-
going to have to be the one who takes this over."
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like he goes home, and meanwhile everybody else stays back and is trying to figure out how to solve the problem.
Yep.
Which is go find Thanos.
Yeah, and like Captain Marvel's like, I'm just gonna go beat him up.
It's
Yeah.
just like, why are we not doing this? Let's just go kill Thanos.
No, yeah, Captain Marvel starts to walk off, and then like, "Where are you going?" And she just looks at him and says, "I'm gonna go kill Thanos."
Yeah.
And,
just
and in that
nonchalantly.
moment, by the way, in that moment, I was like, "Yeah, you are." Like, I wholeheartedly believe
It's
that.
another thing where like as soon as the Russos get a hold of a character, it's like, oh, now I get what she's about.
Yeah, the fact that she's like, "I'm going to go kill Thanos." So one of the things about Captain Marvel in her own movie was that she, due to the fact that there were 5 writers, they had trouble
Yeah.
kind of settling on what her character is.
Yeah.
Here, she's
No
not,
problem.
She's not a smartass.
She's like, yeah, she's very much no nonsense. I'm gonna get shit done.
Yeah.
That's literally her character.
And you
She
can't
takes
stop me.
action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one's gonna stop me.
And you know what? That is a fine character to have if they had, and I think Captain Marvel would have been better off if they could have found a way to stick to that character specifically
Yeah.
instead of kind of ping-ponging between what they wanted to do.
Which scared me, because the moment that when she had like a character introduced into this film, I was just like, oh fuck, if we keep you around, there's no point to this movie.
You were afraid she was going to be like Superman in Justice League.
Yes!
Where she
I
was like-
super afraid of
Yeah,
that.
it's like, is this person bothering you? And then that's it.
Luckily, they established that she feels a necessity to help all kinds of people all across
Yeah.
the universe, so she has to go other places.
Which,
Yes.
thank you for I'm. You know what? I'm happy they established that.
Yep.
I'm happy they established, like, look,
She's
Thanos,
not Earth-centric.
Thanos is gone. So I'm gonna go do all this other stuff. You can handle your planet. You can handle your
Earth
solar
has a whole
system.
bunch of superheroes. The rest of the universe has me. And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
only me.
And I, you know what? I like that line from her.
Or she's like, other planets don't have you.
Unfortunately. And I like
Yeah.
the fact that because they all start getting on her case, and then like a champion, she just looks at them and says, "Look, unfortunately, the rest of the universe doesn't have people like you." And I'm like, "Ooh,
Yep,
ooh,
right
ooh.
at War Machine.
She nicely like.
And
Yep.
Rocket just backs up like, okay,
like, yep,
shit.
that makes sense.
Okay, yeah,
Yep.
no.
Which I appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that she's not like, "Oh, too bad the rest of the universe doesn't have guys like you, but unfortunately, I'm the only one here." No, she is like, "You
Like,
guys
you
are
guys are
good.
doing good work."
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
good, but I'm literally the only one of you out there, so you've got to give me a break." And you know,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and that establishes why she's not there for the rest of the film until
Yeah.
when she's necessary.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which also like, do you remember what Tony said to Rocket when his first line of dialogue to Rocket?
I
thought you were
I could
Build-A-Bear.
have sworn I thought you were Build-A-Bear.
Like up until this moment when he started talking.
Also, I want to get this out of the way. Fucking Carol Danvers with the short hair.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man,
That's always been a better look.
It is a
She's-
better look,
She
yeah.
looks so good.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that fucking who was Rocket's the one who's like she's like hey, we're gonna see you next week. No, I'm gonna be busy. What? You get another haircut?
Yeah.
And she's
Yeah.
like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah, though we skipped ahead a bit.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
we didn't even get
We,
to
we
the
have
point
to
where
get
they
back to the
actually
fact that they're
go.
going on a manhunt to Thanos.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
actually they go find Thanos. They beat the shit out of him because they found out he
Yeah, they-
used the stones again, and they don't know what he did.
Yeah.
And then he says, "Oh, I used the stones to destroy the stones."
So they can't get them back and save everybody.
Yeah. So Thanos decided, yeah, I probably shouldn't leave these laying around. Snap, and then destroys half of his body.
He also referred to it as temptation.
Yep.
Yeah, in which, you know what, as the pragmatist that this man is, yeah, no, good that he recognized, yeah, no, I'm probably going to use this to do something really stupid.
He's mentally unstable and a shitty person, but
Yeah. He saw the temptation.
Here's the thing that makes Thanos as scary as he is that he realized these are a temptation. I got what I wanted. I need to get rid of them before I do something stupid with them.
Yep.
Which is,
and
look,
also practically someone will undo what he did if exactly what
Yeah.
they tried to
If
do.
you leave the tools around, yeah.
Thanos is one of my favorite villains from any comic book film now, like bar none.
Yep.
Because
Well,
this is a man.
he's gotten the most character development out of anybody except maybe Loki, but even more
I-
than Loki probably.
Yeah, because ultimately he's a character that is introspective. He's pragmatic.
Yep.
He believes wholeheartedly in his goals. He is a vicious, unrelenting murderer, but he never lies. He's not. He is a bad, awful person.
That has a moral code.
Yeah, that has this strict code that he lives by,
And it, like
In
despite
D&D
the fact,
terms, lawful evil.
yeah, and
yeah,
again,
and at the very bottom of this dark, awful pit of just genocidal violence,
Yeah.
there is something that believes that this is what I need to do, that was carved out of death. And
Yeah.
that's the thing that makes Thanos so good, is that you understand, like, there's no part about him that is mustache twirlingly evil.
well, and and also the thing about him, like this is more talking about Infinity War, but where you'll notice that like he does all this stuff and he almost seems heroic because the first film kind of framed him that way.
Yeah.
When you think about it, he made sure he knew that he was going to go to that farm when he was done. He
Yep.
made sure he was exempt from the snap. He said everyone else it was equal and like it didn't differentiate from rich and poor, but
Yeah.
he was the one person he knew wasn't going to get snapped.
Actually, that was the right thing for him to do. Think about it. If he included himself in that snap and then suddenly he disappears, that gauntlet suddenly left there and
With all
anyone
the
could use
stones
it,
in it.
and anyone could use it to undo what he did.
That's
Yep.
true. But
Yeah, no, he what he did, but when he did it, he then removed himself from the rest of the universe. He
that's it. He
isolated
didn't even
himself.
think about that until 2 days later.
Yep.
They said specifically 2 days after
The snap.
that he
snapped
used them
again.
No, he does.
Yeah.
But remember, he snapped to get rid of his own temptation.
Yeah, Yeah, I'm just saying. But anyway, doesn't matter.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That Thanos, like, I mostly wanted to note that for like the people like Thanos is right. No, like even objectively, he's wrong.
No, Thanos is absolutely 100% wrong, top to bottom. There is no
Morally,
argument
he's
about
wrong. When it comes to the science,
But
he's
he
wrong.
doesn't think it is. He doesn't
Yeah,
think he
and
is.
that's the thing about him that works. You understand why he's doing what he's doing, his thought process, and
his
his
flawed thought
views,
process.
yeah.
yeah, and that's why he's scary. That's why he's because
He's effective regardless.
any villain who recognizes their own evilness and rolls with it it could still be fun.
Yeah.
I can absolutely dig on an evil villain. Like the way that sorry, I was about to get kind of navel gazing. Anyway, point of the fact of the matter is, I loved Thanos in this, and I cannot believe he dies in the first act.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
So
'cause-
we
Yep.
get everyone fucking gangs up on Thanos, cuts off his arm, takes the glove. They have him at point.
And then fucking Thor comes in.
Yeah.
And and I loved it too, because it's as he's about to address fucking Nebula, is like, maybe I was too hard on you, and fucking Thor's like, no, nothing out of you, and
Yeah.
then just lops his head off on screen.
What'd you do
don't-
that for? I aim for the head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am for the head, and that which. Oh, okay. I'll get into Thor in a minute, because that is a Thor spot for me. So
Yeah.
Okay, so
I know, Stefan. I know.
Anyway,
so
but
we,
yeah,
so kill Thanos is dead. There's nothing anyone else could do anymore because the stones are all
Stones
done.
are destroyed. Yeah.
5 years later.
well, but the way they do it, where it's like the screen goes dark and it just says 5,
Five.
lets it sit there.
Yep.
Years
Years
later, I thought it was
yeah.
gonna be months, but no, it's years later.
Yep.
yeah, and that's when your own anus just puckers up like, oh God, what?
My singular anus.
Well, yeah, because
Just
you know
the
5
one.
anus.
Not a Titan.
Thanos is dead, so
Yeah.
yeah.
No, they gave him a 6th anus, his neck hole.
Yeah. Gave him the 6th anus. Now he can.
But yeah,
We should have like
Why
a
are
count.
we on this bit?
We should just have a counter or clicker every time someone says anus in this review.
One anus for each
Click.
Infinity
Click.
Stone.
what about the word pucker? We've
Or
used that a
pucker.
couple times.
Yeah.
Anyway, but
Anything
yeah,
butthole related.
we have an anime time skip.
Yep.
And we see where everybody's been, like where everybody is now after
Yep.
the time skip.
Some are doing all right. Some not so much.
Tony's leading a self-help group. Basically.
no,
Steven.
Steve.
Yeah,
Steve.
Steve. Sorry,
Yeah.
Steve.
By the way, okay, look, I'm gonna be here. The fact that the self-help group opened up with a guy talking about going on a date with another guy made me happy.
that was actually one of the directors, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
Yeah.
not. I don't think he's gay, but
he
played
played
that
that part.
I believe
Yeah.
that was Joe Russo.
Yeah, it's Joe.
okay,
Yeah.
that was nice. I was like, aw, he's talking about going on a date with another guy.
I was really shocked, like
Yeah, when I saw
specifically
that, I
see,
was
oh,
like-
oh, Joe Russo's in the movie.
Yeah, that caught me off guard too, and I was like,
I
let
guess
me see where
Anthony
this
was
goes.
directing.
yeah, I
for
was
the
looking
shot.
at you guys all the time. I'm just like, yo, are you seeing this?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I was just like,
I didn't know who that was, so
Yeah.
I was like,
Well, that was one of the directors.
yeah, I as soon as I saw, it, like, let me see where this goes, and I was like, that was nice. That was a nice little cameo.
Hey, cool.
I liked
yeah.
it.
Cool
and,
job.
and they in a non patronizing way,
Yeah.
like did something for the LGBT community. And,
Yeah.
and Steve
In a sincere
Steve
way.
is,
Oh, yeah.
is canonically an ally.
yeah.
Yep.
But oh God, oh man, I can't wait to talk about the fucking line. Oh my God. Okay, sorry. There was some shit in this movie. As I said, there's some fan service in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
They gave the Stony people a bit of a bit of fuel.
So Steve is actually running a self-help group for people who lost people
In the snap.
and he even talks about like the fact that I lost my entire life.
yeah,
like-
like this has happened to me before.
Yeah. I
and-
was
and-
frozen
and-
in
yeah.
ice for 70 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And what you got to do is move on. And then later he's like, I haven't moved on. From
I haven't
any
moved
of
on,
it.
but at least he when he was
He's
talking
helping
to
others.
Nat, he was just like, listen, I know I haven't moved on, but for these people, I have to be that hero and show them
Yep.
that there's something worth going forward
Yeah.
for.
Captain America telling them like you can do it,
And
it works.
And Natasha becomes the new Nick Fury.
Yeah, like the leader of the Avengers.
And she's
basically.
crumbling around it.
And-
She can't take
Yep.
it.
And also, they gave her good hair back. Thank you for getting rid of that terrible blonde haircut. What the?
That
She get-
platinum blonde.
Yeah, she gets a nice braid.
Yep.
Like and it looks good.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The blonde hair on Natasha was the worst. It was
She
easily.
was in hiding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's just such a bad look. It was such.
But apparently she was still keeping it up for a while because 5 years later it's still in there a little bit.
Yeah,
at
it's
the
like
end.
it's like
Which- it
it's
was a
like
good
frost.
look. It
It's
was a
like
good look.
frosted tips.
She bleached her hair, so
Yeah.
it takes a while.
It was a good look. But yeah. So which. Sorry, I don't mean that one of the first things I say about the female characters to be about her looks because we'll talk about Thor in a minute. But
Let me look at the synopsis I looked up just to make sure.
oh
we're
yeah.
at.
So
Yeah.
well yeah, and Steve comes to visit Natasha and they're obviously not happy with this, and that's when Scott Lang shows up.
Yeah, like earlier,
After
earlier in the
after a rat turns on the quantum tunnel in the van that's in storage.
yeah, like accidentally, and he pops out.
One
But
in
time is not
18
moved-
million chance.
Yeah, but time has not moved for him. Like he was only
only,
gone
like,
for
5
hours.
hours.
5 hours, and he comes out 5 years later, and we follow him for a while just exploring
To
this new
see
world.
his daughter
yeah,
grown up.
I was feeling a little
That,
weepy when he
I started tearing up because here's
Yeah.
the thing. I said this in Sakero. My favorite Avenger is a toss-up between Thor and Ant-Man because I love Scott Lang as a character, and to see him reunited with his daughter, who always had his back.
who he lost 5 years of,
Yeah.
of her
Yeah.
childhood.
I mean, let's be honest with you. It's 90% Paul Rudd. Paul
No,
Rudd.
yeah, I don't like the first Ant-Man movie, and I think Ant-Man and the Wasp is pretty good.
If I had to be completely honest with you, I feel like both the Ant-Man movies are completely forgettable. Except for
I-
the fact that I love Paul Rudd and I like moments from those movies.
God, that man is 50 years old.
Yeah.
What?
He just turned 50.
Oh man.
But yeah, yes, and he finds his daughter. She was not in the snap, but she is 5 years older.
Yeah.
And he's not getting those years back.
By the way,
Yeah.
let's address the fact that she is now 5 years older. The actress that they got is clearly in her late 20s.
I think I bought her being a teenager.
I bought her being like 18,
Oh,
19.
Power Rangers teenager.
See,
Hey,
for a guy who hasn't seen any of the films, I was just like, oh, I guess his daughter's like 20-something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
her daughter was like what,
She's supposed-
9, 10
Yeah,
before
she
the
was-
snap?
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
supposed to be like in her teens.
15, 16.
She
is-
did
is-
not look like a teenager.
Yeah,
she looked like a fucking young college student.
Thank you.
Well, young college students are
Which,
teenagers
yeah,
generally.
and this
but-
is
Yeah.
this isn't something that I'm gonna get. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
But I did notice that. I'm like,
I think they chose actor over
fucking this is Dawson's Creek level teenager bullshit.
Look, man, there's a lot of shit I noticed in this movie that I will bring up when it's appropriate, so trust me.
Yeah.
All
But-
right, so
but-
Ant-Man shows up.
Yep.
Yeah, and like we spent a long time with him finding out all this stuff, and then
Not
he
that
shows
long.
up to the compound.
Yeah, makes it to the compound after Natasha and Steven kind of have their little powwow over peanut butter sandwiches.
Yeah. And then basically just starts explaining like, hey, time didn't really move for me because quantum realm works differently, and I don't know how this would work.
Who do we know who does make this work?
Hey, who was that kid?
Oh, the kid on the bicycle?
Kid on the bike?
I think it was just some kid.
Just some kid?
That
It's
was
just to be
that
just
was
some kid.
You're confusing something for the end as someone who actually is something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, and we know who that is, and we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was a part of me that was wondering, wait, is that, could they
Nah,
have?
that was just some
Okay,
kid who
okay.
just like,
It's
well,
just
that's
some
some
kid.
I
All right.
thought that too, but then when I saw the kid, I'm like, no, that's not him.
Okay,
Yeah,
if
no.
it's just a rando kid, then that's fine.
Yeah.
There was a part of me that literally just thought of
that
it
other
like,
kid wasn't in San Francisco anyway.
oh yeah, you're right. You're
Yeah.
right. You're totally right.
But yeah, Scott like shows up to the compound. He's like, yeah, man, like time works differently in the quantum realm. Can we do something with that? I want like he's still. It hasn't been 5 years for him, so he's still trying to figure out
has
how to
5
fix
hours.
things.
Yeah, he's just been soaking in 5 hours of history over an afternoon.
And being the one person who still has hope that things can be fixed,
Yeah.
he actually like opens up possibilities for them.
Which
Yes.
is why I love Scott Lang's character.
Yeah.
And so
and
they go to Tony.
And they give him so much shit throughout the movie.
Oh yeah.
Well,
He's a doofus. That's why.
Yeah.
What am I?
That was the vent. Calm down.
Oh, okay.
That was the AC.
Yeah, sorry. The funny thing about Scott Lang is that he's this guy who's involved in science, but he's also a guy who has no idea how any of it works.
He's a thief.
So, well,
He worked in IT.
I
That
know,
was
I
his
know,
job.
I know, and that's the funny part. That I'm not saying it's bad,
Yeah.
but I am saying it does make it hilarious when he comes in like, guys, I know enough to know that when I was in the quantum realm, time passed differently. I think that we can go back in time. Holy shit, you might be right. Yeah, but we have to make sure that when we go back in time, we don't, and then he starts listing shit off from fucking Back to the Future,
Future.
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
hilarious.
And then they go visit Tony, who's like
Yep, because they're
living
like, okay,
on a lake.
the only person who's gonna know how to science this shit up proper
Is Tony.
is Tony Stark.
Yeah.
And Tony Stark's been living at a he's like
Lakeside cabin, like and,
well,
and-
it's not a cabin. It's a fucking house. That's
well, yeah,
It's lakeside property.
yeah. It's
But
like a
it's-
summer home.
It's
and
wholesome. It's not like it's all made of glass and fucking
Yeah.
marble and shit. It's
Yeah, no,
it's a
living
wood
the
house.
simpler life. And,
Yeah.
like as far as his
The upper middle class life.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he goes out to the yard and there's like a tent there and you realize like, oh, he has a daughter named Morgan.
which obviously like if you didn't think there were some people
At first I was thinking, does he have a dog?
nah. There were some people I knew for a fact that he was gonna have a kid. I was like, oh, they talked about it in the
Yeah,
last
they
film.
set it
so-
up in Infinity War.
Yeah.
So yeah. And the fact when he goes out there, I mean, so with his daughter, I'm like, okay, cool, good. I'm glad that they just did this, like, and yeah, his daughter's adorable.
Yeah.
like fucking cute as fuck.
And you can buy that she's Tony Stark's kid because she does her own
s-
little bits of quipping.
she's a fucking little smartass.
Little kid quipping.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
still.
I gotta hand it to whoever worked with this kid. She
She was not a
obviously-
kiss of death. She
yeah.
was not a kiss of death.
Yeah, her acting obviously is not great, but the fact that she was able to deliver these lines
She was
appropriately,
precocious and fun.
and,
Yep.
yeah, and I'm like, wow, okay, this is a cute little kid, and I loved her.
And it immediately like creates that thing of like, well, of course he doesn't want to change time now. He has a daughter.
Yeah.
He has
and
a family.
They just introduced in a reason that Tony Stark does not want to go through with this one in a
Yeah.
one in a million chance that
He dismisses it out of hand.
yeah immediately. Although you know what I do like, you know, and this was a small thing, is that he's like, all right, if you guys don't talk shop, you can stay for lunch.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
No, yeah. He like made sure multiple times to be like, I'm really happy to see you. If this isn't what you were talking to me about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he says, you know, if you had literally anything else to talk about, I'd be happy about the fact that you're here. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm actually really happy to see you. And I'm like, oh, Tony.
Yeah.
Because this is a different Tony.
Yeah.
This is not.
He's learned.
Yeah, this is not the original Tony that from any of the previous movies. This
Yep.
is a Tony that has been humbled.
Yeah. He's sensitive. He's like, you know, he's not an ass.
He's a dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
But he kicks them out, and then later he's like sort of doing the dishes, struggling with the thing, and then he sees a picture of him and Peter, and he's like, and then he starts thinking about it because he can't help himself.
which
Yeah.
I want to say something. This is not a problem. This is not something I'm upset about. Tony doesn't actually do anything until he realizes that he lost somebody.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
and you know what, that's kind of like, if that's not a commentary on the human condition, I don't know what is, because it's like, yeah, no, you were ready to just, you know, after everything broke, but then you realize that you had the chance to get something very personal back, and
Yep.
you're like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Tony's still a selfish person. He
Yeah.
always has been.
So that's when he makes the decision of, I need to do this, and then he
Well,
starts.
no, he doesn't though. He sort of plays with the idea, and then he figures out, oh, I just made that time travel.
By the way, that's such a good shot. The fact that everything clicks into place, and he literally just fucking falls down, like he's like, oh shit.
Yeah, he like collapses and he's like, "This can't work. What the fuck?"
and then immediately they have his daughter show up.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
heard
no,
him
wait,
say
yeah. He
shit.
says, "Oh shit," and then he looks over to his daughter, and I literally said under my breath, "Language."
Yeah.
And then his daughter shows up. I'm like, "Oh,
And she's like,
And then she goes, "Shit!" And
Yeah.
he goes, "No."
no."
that's your mom's word. Your mom invented that word, actually.
And then she extorts him for fucking ice pops.
Juice
Yeah.
pops.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, my favorite part is like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "Oh, I got really important shit going on over here. What do you think?"
Yep.
Yeah, and but like it's also just another reminder of why he's struggling with even thinking about doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And then he talks to Pepper about it. And Pepper's like, "No, you're gonna do this regardless. So just go for it."
Yeah.
And the fact that Pepper in that scene, you know, she's like, "Look, one of my biggest failures was trying to get you to stop." And I'm like, you know what, Pepper? You knew what you signed on for, and
Yeah.
that means a lot. The fact that you married this guy, you had a child with this guy, knowing who and what he is, and
Yeah.
accepting that is. I mean, I'm not gonna say like know your place in this, but the fact that she was able to make peace with that and make the adult decision of like, no, this is
This
right.
is who he is.
This is who you are.
And that
He's
like,
a guy defined by his work.
yeah.
Yep.
And that is like, you know what? Good on you, lady, because that takes a fucking lot of like for a partner. That's a lot. That means a lot.
A lot of emotional
Yeah.
fucking strength.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah. So like Tony seems to make his decision. Meanwhile, the other guys are like, okay, we need another smart person. Who do we go to?
Oh boy.
And
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. So
Smash cut.
biggest fucking surprise thus far, probably even bigger than fucking Thanos dying, is that Bruce Banner has made peace with the Hulk and is now almost permanently in Professor Hulk form.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
With the glasses and all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it almost does look like a gray Hulk.
Yeah, he almost looks like Joe Fixit. Yeah.
And also, I gotta tell you, it made me very uncomfortable.
Because it had just enough of his real face.
Yeah,
in
it
there
had enough
to-
of Ruffalo's
for Hulk to kind of be
features.
handsome.
Look.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be horny on main for a second.
When are you not?
No, I'm sorry. Look, I
Don't
like.
be sorry.
It's just he's,
No. Don't be sorry, because
he's-
I can sympathize.
He's jacked as fuck. He's like 8 feet tall. He's
With Mark Ruffalo's
you
face.
wear
he's-
a-
we got Mark Ruffalo's face,
Sweetheart.
but and more handsome.
Sweetheart, you wear a Barra hat in public a lot of the
This
times.
is not a surprise.
It's
to
not
any
a
of us.
surprise to
We
any
were
of us.
You were actually noting, like looking at the cutouts of the characters, that why is Hulk so handsome?
Yeah.
It's basically because Mark Ruffalo's face is more in there than it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sitting over here like I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do about like
Swoon.
this-
That's
this
what you
hu-
do.
This huge chest. This like and
The smart look.
And then the children show up.
Yes!
And
He's a
it's really-
celebrity, and I
Yep.
love
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
There is something so fucking wholesome about Professor Hulk being a hero to the common people.
And
it is
dabbing.
so fucking wholesome. No, shut up. I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that. It's so wholesome that all those kids come to him
And want to take a selfie with him.
They want to take a selfie with him. They know who he is. People are okay with the Hulk being the Hulk.
Yeah.
He's accepted by people again.
Yep.
Yeah.
To the point where kids meme with him.
Yeah.
Yep.
The fact that he has a catchphrase. He says Hulk out.
And
Yeah.
then he dabs for the kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. 4 years after dabbing is probably going to still be a thing.
Yeah. We'll take any meme, new or old, after a catastrophic event like that.
Yeah, and yeah, it's really great. Professor Hulk turned out to be a really great direction to go in.
I did not like
Yeah.
it at first, but then when I saw the human acceptance piece, I'm like, no, this is great.
And Mark,
Yeah.
Mark
This is
Ruffalo sells
fucking
it.
Awesome.
Oh, yes, he does.
And it's Hulk with glasses. He still needs the glasses when,
Just-
he's,
yeah.
when he's half hulked out.
Yep.
Yeah. I
Get
the
it all
fact-
out.
No, I did not expect them to go this direction. Like I literally saw the standee and I was like, oh, Hulk's looking a little different in
His
this.
hair's like more coiffed for some reason.
Oh, and then we find out why. We found out that he's actually able to.
He
So
probably uses hair product. Big old tubs of it. Just
yeah,
Just
Nah.
a paint bucket.
So they go to Bruce. Bruce tells them it's possible, but it's out of his wheelhouse, but they get him anyway to do it.
Yeah.
and meanwhile, Nat, Black Widow, is heading to Japan to find
Scorpion.
to find Clint Barton
Oh, yeah,
just
so
killing
Clint-
the shit out of
Yeah,
Yakuza.
so we haven't mentioned this much. Clint Barton has become a vigilante,
Like a serial
murdering
killer.
criminals. Murdering criminals.
Just
like
full
To
on
the
John
point
Wick.
to the point where War Machine even said, from what I saw with what he did to those cartel members, I don't think I want to find him.
Yeah.
Which by the way, so there's a dark, sick part of me that like hears about him murdering cartel members, and I'm just like, yeah, you get him, Clint.
Yeah, and like and you learn like after he kills a bunch of Yakuza guys and in a very anime scene has a samurai sword fight with a dude.
Yep.
It's great. and his reasoning is laid out there, which is that you survived the snap. A lot of people didn't, and you don't fucking deserve to live.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like all those people, they got Thanos. You get me.
He says it in Japanese. Though.
Yeah, in
Yep.
Japanese.
Surprisingly
Says it in
speaking Japanese
Japanese.
pretty well.
Yeah, I don't know if that was actually Jeremy Renner speaking Japanese there, but
It
It
was
could have been voiceover.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it was, because they could have had like a coach.
oh, absolutely.
Because it was
Some
what
people take
two,
to it better than others.
It was what, 2 lines of dialogue?
4 or 5
5,
lines.
6.
But that's enough to like bring
Yeah.
in a coach for like a few weeks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
and
do,
they could do it in voiceover, like
in ADR.
Anyway, point being, the fact that Clint has basically become this guy, he's like, the fact that his family didn't survive the snap and yet criminals did, just drives him up the fucking wall.
He just wants to take out his anger on somebody,
Yep.
really.
Well, yeah, but
With
here's the thing.
sick haircut too.
Yeah.
It actually works.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah,
it does.
But think about it. Think about if you were that guy. If you were Clint Barton, and you lost your family, and then you see criminals, people who murder other people on a regular basis,
And they didn't
Meet the plot
And
of
they
every
made it out of
revenge
it?
movie.
Yeah. Like it is such good motivation for him to become the fucking Punisher, and I loved it.
I like Scorpion, but yes, you're right.
And then meanwhile, Bruce and Rocket.
Mohawk guy.
Yes. And meanwhile, Bruce and Rocket head to Norway
Oh yeah.
to New Asgard.
To New Asgard. That was in Norway, huh?
Scotland.
Okay.
Wasn't it? No, it was Scotland.
It was Scotland.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't Scotland.
Because in
No.
Ragnarok they specifically talk
Right,
about
you're
Norway.
right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Sorry.
They basically went where they went to find Odin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, they go to New Asgard and Valkyrie's there.
Which, by the way, the moment she showed up on screen, I was like, yes, thank you. Like, I'm sorry, I love Valkyrie.
Oh,
yeah.
Tessa
Yeah.
Thompson
She's
does a
rad.
great job with this.
You're
You're gay, of
So-
course you love Valkyrie. All the gay people love Valkyrie.
I mean,
Also, Valkyrie's great.
like, look, if in the next film that she shows up in, she's got another queen next to her, I'm not gonna argue. But okay, so we're about to talk. I'm gonna like lay my cards on the table. This is one of my least favorite parts of the film.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm
well,
sorry.
well, let's talk about what it is.
I can
So-
see. You know what?
so they
what you're
find-
about to say, I can see it.
They
yeah.
find Thor, who is now a slubbish piece of shit.
playing like
Hardcore dad bod.
hanging out with Korg and Meek.
Yeah, which Corgan Meek, glad to see them again.
playing
We're playing Fortnite.
Playing
Fortnite
Fortnite.
on a PS4.
But Thor now has a gross belly and
A
this,
beer gut.
the worst kind of dad bod.
Yeah.
And is just a lazy, drunk piece of shit.
There is
He's an alcoholic.
And I'm sorry. Like, look, there's a low point that you can have your hero hit, but it needs to be recoverable at some point. Thor never gets that. Thor never recovers from the low he hits in this film. And it's
I'm gonna say that I don't mind that he has a low and he never recovers from it, because look at his rapport for most of his films.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this. This is the first
He
time
got
he's-
his eye cut out. What
Yeah.
happens in the next film? Oh, here, have this fake eye. Fuck off!
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
No, like, oh, you know why that happened? You like, do you even know why the fake eye came into play? Because they were filming Thor Ragnarok at the same time they were working on Infinity War, and they had no idea. Like, the people writing Infinity War had no idea he was going to lose his eye.
Yeah.
So they had to like, oh shit, okay, we need to do something about this like early on. So they just gave.
But
him the eye.
it wasn't even just that.
But
you know, he lost his hammer, and then he gets an even more badass weapon in Infinity War.
Yeah,
But he still fails.
But he still fails.
Here's the thing: is that like no matter how many times Thor fails, he always gets a comeuppance in some way. And this is the first time in any of the films I've ever seen Thor in a fucking Marvel movie.
When he's knocked down a peg, he stays down a peg.
Yeah, he doesn't stay the fuck down. And this one, he was down through most of it, and it was
Yeah.
believable.
It wouldn't have bothered me so much if the big dramatic scenes, that's all I could focus on with him. Like, I'm like, oh, that fucking guts there. And I'm like...
That's what I was laughing my ass off at that.
But I'm not... In moments, I wasn't supposed to laugh, though.
But
That was my problem.
here's the thing. Those scenes, though, I think it just kind of shows him, because when not only does he look physically pathetic, he's emotionally and mentally pathetic.
Yeah.
He's a fucking crybaby.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
And
like
that-
he's a
and-
guy who, no matter what he's lost, he's never failed
Yes,
as
it's
utterly as he has.
the Thor we just saw in this movie is the antithesis of what he represents. This is a god of thunder. This is someone who inevitably becomes the ruler of a powerful race of warriors,
And
he becomes a schlubby crybaby.
yeah, and here's the thing. Him becoming a schlubby crybaby was not my problem, but the fact that I'm sorry, again, maybe the physique thing just kind of threw me off during these
Just
big,
him looking like the
huge,
dude?
Yeah, in these big, huge, emotional, triumphant moments, he looks gross, and I'm like, damn it, that's kind of.
I see what you mean, but at the same time, I'm glad they decided to
Same,
stick with it.
because the reason I liked it was because, to kind of jump ahead a tiny bit, to the point that made a lot of us kind of weirded out, that they made us give a shit about Thor 2 when he talks to his mother. when he actually gets reunited with his mother.
Oh yeah, no, that scene is fantastic.
When she basically is like, "My God, you look awful. What happens?" Like, look,
Eat a salad.
she literally tells her son, "Eat a fucking salad." But no, I think that's my kind of counterpoint to where, like, I don't mind that he looks like a has-been, because that's what he became.
I know, it's just it sucks to see that alongside both. Because here's the thing. So without skipping too well, okay, no, I'm skipping way far ahead.
Well, here's the thing.
We'll talk about it later.
We got Thor now. Thor's back.
Yeah, Thor's
back. Fat.
Thor's back.
Thor's back and fat.
Yeah, so they head back. They test the machine in a scene with Hawkeye that's kind of moving, and then they find out it works, and then they create a plan to go get all the Infinity Stones from the past, bring it to now, so that they can bring everybody back.
It's kind of another, you know how the opening scene for Hawkeye was mean? Just to add salt in that cut. They made Clint the guinea pig, and they took him back to where his family was, and he's only there for just a teeny weeny bit, and they yanked him out.
Yeah,
after he just lost his family.
Just to test that he could take something back.
Yeah, and he took his kid's baseball mitt.
And thank you, movie, for not making him the fucking schlub who loses his mind over the fact that he almost saw his family again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
just
so fucking
he's
happy.
back. Yeah, he immediately gets like, no, it works. We're gonna fix this.
Yep.
I'm gonna get them back.
Yeah, it motivates him.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
Thank
we
God
can
it
fucking do this.
motivated him, and it didn't like make him just like this fucking like this
At-
dickhead who just was just like,
Yeah.
you took this away from me.
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
moment he was desperate to see someone again, but he wasn't too bummed that he didn't, because
he realized it worked.
yeah.
Now there's a chance.
Yeah. And so they figure out their plan. Like, they figure out a way where 3 Infinity Stones are in New York at the same time, so they'll go then.
I do love how she points that out. Like, wait a second.
Yeah.
If we go to this
At this timeline, there are 3 Infinity Stones in New
one
York.
location. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the others go at different points in time to get different stones, and then
The
come
fact
back.
that Hulk just says "shut the front door."
Yeah.
And also they make sure to note that, like, you can't change the past. Like it won't do anything. And also, like, this isn't even a parallel timeline situation. It's like, no, this is all one timeline. We're gonna bring them here and fix it after this. But everything that has happened, period. So the 5-year time skip, canonically, from here on out, unless they like have them catch up, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is 4 years ahead of us at all times.
Yep.
And like, everybody went through 5 years of half the population being gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, how well this might fuck over or do good for the future films.
Yeah, we'll see. But I like
don't
that
think
it
it'll
maintains
affect him.
stakes.
True. I don't think that'll affect it too much, since the next phase is cosmic. It's out in space.
Yeah, like, the biggest thing it affects is Spider-Man: Homecoming, which I think they just picked a.
But I mean, they also like kind of spec that even in space, this is the year 2014, 2016, 2008, 2004.
Did you mean Far From Home?
Yeah, Far From Home.
Okay, I just picked
Yeah.
I make that same mistake all the time.
Yeah. But yeah, like the next Spider-Man movie, like, that's the one where I think they're just gonna hand away that, oh, everybody in Peter's class basically got snapped and came back, so
Yeah.
they're all still in high school.
Yeah.
Even though 5 years have passed.
Yeah.
Yeah, which apparently the people who came back from the snap, they just stayed the same age.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that makes sense. They
Yeah.
just got unsnapped.
But wait a minute. So this is a question for later down the line. But I was just like, so wait a minute. Do they all know that the 5 years have passed and they just acclimated to it, or do they still not remember?
No, they learn eventually. They learn and they deal with
They
it.
find out about it after they come back.
That is okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
The human condition about that. When I think about that, there's no fucking way that would have worked that smoothly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions about how the time travel in this works, because again, it's like, you go back in the past, it's not going to actually change the past, and I'm like,
The fuck logic is this?
It was basically the counter argument to every time travel movie ever fucking made.
Yeah.
which is like, but how does that work? I'm so,
Yeah, the time travel does not fully make sense in this movie, but I'm okay with it because, again, it maintains stakes.
what it seems to do is make these branches.
But it all coalesces into the same timeline.
Basically, if I may, everything that happened, including the whole time heist that Scott coins it was gonna happen eventually. This was all predetermined.
In some ways, yeah.
To a degree, everything was predetermined to happen.
They can change things as long as it's their future, basically.
So let's get back on track then. Tony now shows up, goes to Rogers, and goes, I hate being this resentful motherfucker. Here's how we can make this work.
Yeah.
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 He
And-
figured it out. He figured out with like Mobius strip stuff and
An inverted Mobius strip. Yeah.
Yep.
and so they suit up. They figure out what they're gonna do and where they're gonna go, and they split up into teams and
Yep.
go to the past.
All right, so which one are we going to talk about first?
I assume the New York one first
Because that's the big bulk of it. Because they go to 3 spots: New York, Morag, and
Asgard.
Vormir. Oh, 4 and
Yeah.
Vormir for the Soul Stone.
Right.
Yeah.
6 stones, 4 locations, because 3 of them are on Earth. Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like every single character who's ever been in an MCU movie shows up in this.
It's very
Yeah,
close.
They do.
They virtually do.
Like anybody who, I was about to say anybody who hasn't died, but even then,
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
who have died show up in this because time
go to the past, yeah.
travel.
Like first off, they Banner, Lang, Rogers, and Stark go to New York City.
Yep.
During 2012,
During
the big Avengers
During the
third act.
Chitauri invasion. Yeah.
Yeah. Banner has to pretend to be mean Hulk, and he's very bad at it.
Yep.
But he heads off to the Sanctum Sanctorum to convince the Ancient One to give him the
The
Time
Time Stone.
And she's like, and she knows that she's going to meet Stephen Strange, and he's gonna be.
The best of
Sorcerer
all of them.
Supreme.
Which, by the way, I like that. I was
Yep.
actually a big fan of
That
like
explains a lot.
you're about 4 or 5 years too early for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And oh man, I'm sorry. Tilda Swinton showed up. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Some more Tilda Swinton.
It's so
Yep.
good. It's so good to see her again.
She's such a good actress.
I love
Oh
her.
yeah.
But she explains that like, not you have to bring those back. Like,
You can't just take
Yeah,
them.
Yeah,
I don't
you
want-
can't just doom my timeline.
yeah.
Because she points out the fact that like, look, there is one timeline, but if you take these,
You make a branch.
even if you take one of them,
You're gonna break everything.
yeah, you branch the timeline. You have to put them back to close those timelines off.
Yeah.
Um,
Like these are what the universe is made out of. Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Thanos didn't make them destroyed. He turned them into atoms, so that stuff still exists basically.
Yeah.
But no one can manipulate it anymore.
yeah.
So she's just like, all right, so come bring them back, and you can take this.
It literally took Hulk, Bruce Banner, basically to say, well, Steven willingly gave Thanos the Time Stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she's like, okay, he must know something that I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The fact-
exactly.
and I love that. I loved that. I'm like, wait a second. Strange gave you like actually one
Willingly.
Oh shit. Okay.
So something's up.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Steve and Tony head to Avengers Tower, and they come in on the moment where everyone's posing,
Yeah.
and like
I think I'll have that
threatening
drink
Loki.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they show everything that happens after that, which is like the mundane shit. But because they're also sneaking around and doing Back to
Yep.
the Future 2 stuff, it's fun and also silly and mundane. Like it's and Tony even like points out like, okay, we can stop posing.
Yeah.
And then Hydra shows up, and then
Yeah.
he's just like, okay, we
like Shield guys, but like they're
Shield,
Hydra
but they're
guys.
actually Hydra.
Oh, yeah,
And then
yeah.
fucking Steve shows up in the elevator.
Yes. Okay.
to take
so,
the Mind Stone. Yeah.
This got the biggest cheer out of the
Yeah.
whole audience because if you were a comic book fan, this scene
Yeah.
is a fucking triumph.
Yeah, it's a fuck you
So-
to a certain writer.
Can
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
talk about the
Go
part?
ahead.
All right. So, they have the staff. And
The
by
Mind
they,
Stone.
I mean the Shield agents who are actually Hydra agents,
Yeah.
and they're
And they're Hydra agents
specifically-
you recognize
very-
from Winter
yeah,
Soldier.
Very
Yep.
specifically, the ones from Winter Soldier. So
And they're in an elevator.
and the elevator stops, and Steve gets on.
Yeah.
Now,
And it's
if
very
you-
reminiscent of a certain scene.
It's exactly the scene almost exactly from Winter Soldier when Steve gets on that elevator.
Yeah, does anybody want to get off?
Yeah, with that same motherfucker,
Yeah.
and he's like, "I'll be taking point on the staff from here on out." And of course, that one guy, and I can't remember his name, who was basically the sub boss from
Yeah.
Crossbones.
Crossbones. He's all like, "I can't let you do that, Captain." And you think for a moment there it's about to go down. Fucking
Yeah.
Steve is about to like just
Preemptively beat the shit out of
and he's like,
everyone.
guys, it's not a problem. And he leans over to that one motherfucker, the basic,
shield agent, yeah.
that shield agent. Hell Hydra.
And he walks away with
yeah,
the
they let him
suitcase.
walk out.
And they're like, oh, okay, click, boom, give it over to him, and he walks away, and the
Yep.
entire theater went fucking crazy.
And that scene is very much almost a fuck you to the guy who wrote the comic where Cap
Secret
was a
Empire.
secret Hydra agent.
Secret Empire,
Well,
yeah.
okay, apparently it was always that writer's plan for that to have been like that to have been a fake out like he was playing as a member of Hydra very specifically, and that's but. The initial reaction in the comics for when that happened,
No one liked it.
Yeah,
because
no one liked it.
Yeah, no one was happy about that. But in that scene, oh my god,
Yeah,
everybody.
you got to cheer.
The entire theater cheered out.
Yeah.
And, and it's also partially just because it's Steve being clever and using his knowledge of the future to just
to fuck with people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
And I guess
For once he was ahead.
yeah, and I guess just following Cap's line through the story here. He walks out and runs into himself in the hallway.
and
just has a drag
his,
out fight.
And his other self is like, I've got Loki. And I'm like,
Okay, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves for one quick thing.
We are.
Because,
we are
because,
just a little bit.
because now we got to cut back to Tony.
Because they split up in the tower.
Yeah.
One goes after the Tesseract, one goes after the Scepter.
Yeah, so
Cap got the scepter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're going after the Tesseract.
So Tony and Scott.
And it's a rather simple scene where, like, basically Tony
poses as a
an
Black
officer
Ops soldier,
and has Scott shrink down small enough to fuck with Tony's
arc reactor.
Yeah, arc
When
reactor.
it was actually connected to his heart.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, "Don't worry, it's just gonna give me a minor, like, basically
Heart palpitation, basically.
Yeah. It's like it's not even as bad as actually. It's not a heart attack or anything, but it will basically render me
Like cardiac arrest for a second.
Yeah. And Scott's like, okay, if that's what you want me to do, which it leads to a great scene where Thor uses his hammer with lightning
He just
to
puts
help
it on
him.
there. It's like,
It's like I wasn't sure that was going to work. Holy shit!
yeah. But yeah, like so like the plan seems to work. That
And
Tony
then-
gets the Tesseract, but
Then-
Thor was forced to take the stairs
No,
because he
Hulk.
couldn't go on the elevator.
Hulk was forced to take the
Yeah,
stairs.
sorry. Hulk was forced to take the stairs because they wouldn't let him on the elevator, and he was pissed.
Yeah.
Hulk want to use alligator.
It's like Hulk hates stairs, and he busts through the door and knocks Tony out.
He's like, no more stairs.
and Loki fucking takes off with it.
Yep.
yeah,
Loki
Loki
fucking
just grabs the
disappears.
Tesseract and leaves.
Yep.
He just sees it, yoink, and then just
Yeah, bam, out.
disappears.
It's pretty funny.
So they fuck up. Now we got to move on to Asgard because that's what happens next.
Yeah.
Yep, the reality
I was figuring
stone.
we just cover what's in each area because it's easier, and
Oh.
and then move on to the next
Yeah,
area.
okay. Oh, yeah, that's true. So they reconvene and they realize that, okay, we screwed up. So
The fuck are we going to do? We lost the Tesseract with Loki. We literally cannot get it back now.
Now we're skipping over Cap's fight with Cap.
yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Also, Cap fights Cap. It's a good fight.
Past Cap says, "I can do this all day," and he's like, "Yeah, I know."
Sorry,
yeah.
we passed by one of the best lines in the movie.
Of course, I know which
So
one you're talking about.
during the scene,
Oh,
during the okay,
When
so
they're what?
nearly
Yeah.
the at the beginning of the scene after Tony. Future Tony has infiltrated his own tower and witnesses the ending of that fight scene between
Loki and the
Avengers.
He's seeing them from behind.
Yeah, he's seeing them from behind, and he looks at Captain America's ass. Which, by the way, for all you shippers out there, that's gotta just
That's
fucking-
that's the best you're gonna get at this point.
Yeah. Deal
and
with
he's like,
it.
and he's like looking at Captain America's ass, and like, by
that
the way,
suit did not do any favors for your
Yeah,
ass.
And then Tony goes, "That's America's ass."
No,
That was Scott.
Scott.
That was Scott,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
Scott Lang is like, I disagree, Mr. Captain America.
As far
That
as
looks
I'm concerned, yeah.
yeah,
That's
as far as I'm
America's-
concerned, that's America's ass.
And yeah, like and
After he
after
knocks-
Steve fights himself and knocks himself out, he looks at his own ass and is like, "That is America's ass."
Which I felt out of character, like if
Well,
I'm gonna be honest, but
Tony, I mean, no, Steve throughout this entire movie is a lot more like,
Loose.
yeah, he's far less of a Boy Scout than he used to be.
yeah, I mean he's 100% still the Boy Scout,
Yeah.
but he's also having some fun.
Yeah, like
And that's-
he's far more he's far less of a like stick
After
in the
the
mud.
first act and 5 years of bullshit, I think the guy needs some.
Yeah.
By the way, the fact that I like to point out that I'm so happy that Scott Lang is for some reason just this huge Captain America stan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, lots of dorks are like in this universe. Like Coulson was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just they're like Captain America, the best of us, and I'm like, yeah, he is.
Yeah.
No, I get it. I mean, like I'm a huge Captain America stan, so
But-
I get it.
And
but
yet,
yeah, like all the New York guys like come together and they're like, okay, so we have the scepter, we don't have
the Tesseract.
the Tesseract, but Tony and Steve come up with a plan and send Scott home with the scepter.
Mind Stone, yeah.
with the Mind Stone.
And they jump back 70 years in New Jersey. They jump
1970
in New Jersey.
Yeah.
with Stan's last cameo.
Mm.
And it's Stan at his prime. They made him look like how he looked in 1970.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Driving
he's-
past an army base, holding up a peace sign saying "Make peace, not war."
Yeah. At the army base, and meanwhile, Steve and Tony are just heading into a shield base that's hidden in the army base.
Which, by the way, nice call back to Winter Soldier.
Yes.
Because I knew it was coming. The moment he's like, "Well, what are we looking for?" And I'm like, it's gonna be that same compound,
Bunker.
Yep.
that same bunker. And yep, it was.
Yeah,
Yep.
like, and they even mentioned that Zola's there. Howard Stark is there, which is a big deal.
Yep.
So is Shirley from Community.
Yeah, Shirley from Community is in the
Yep.
fucking elevator with them. By the
Yep.
way, I think Zola is like one of the only characters who doesn't actually show up, but he does get a mention.
Yes. Odin also doesn't show up.
Yeah.
You're right.
But yeah. So Steve like just goes and I forget what he was doing.
He was basically
He's yeah.
they split up just to look for the Tesseract.
Ah, okay.
And Tony found it first.
Yeah.
And Tony ran into his
And
dad.
He runs into his dad, who's worried because he's about to have a son and he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
going on a date with his wife,
Who's
pregnant.
expecting.
Yeah.
Who's expecting.
And Tony has this moment of
you
like
mean Howard Potts?
yeah.
Yeah.
But Tony has this moment like watching his dad like be nervous about having a kid. And it's like, you know what? My dad did better than his own dad, and he was trying.
Sorry, Steve was finding the pin particles.
Oh,
Yes, he was looking for the pin
that's what he
particles.
was doing.
Yeah.
So
So,
they could
yeah.
time travel more.
Yeah.
And not get.
And he made
We need time travel fuel.
he made a pit stop at Peggy's daughter's office, Margaret Carter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. By the way, that scene is not creepy, but it is a little bit like, oh man, you were so lucky you didn't get noticed there, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, cause he.
How did she not see you?
It was dark. That's the
Yeah.
only reason.
Yeah.
It was dark and she was looking at paperwork while some guy was berating her. It was the 70s, so.
Yeah. But yeah, like they have some fun moments like with young Hank Pym and young Howard Stark and then they're
That
like, all right,
de-aging technology, man.
yeah, and then they get it done. And they go back to the normal timeline, which
Yeah.
leaves us with Asgard.
I
Right?
love the fact that everybody kept talking about his fucking beard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That beatnik
It's hippie-
beard.
yeah, it's
Beatnik
hippie beard. Tony's hippie beard. Yeah. But yeah, so now we open in space, not even at a specific place yet, right?
Right.
Wait,
Well,
no.
we gotta go to
no.
Asgard
Yeah,
next.
No,
yeah,
go to Asgard first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can do Asgard
We
first.
can do Asgard.
So Rocket and Thor go to Asgard.
Yep.
Yeah, back during Thor: The Dark World.
Where Jane Foster is in Asgard.
Yeah,
under protection.
and has the Reality Stone basically inside her.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they want to get it out. So they, I guess
the-
they eventually got to inject it back in later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the original plan was, oh my god, that's right. They have to go back into the fucking past and inject it back into her spine, and that was on Steve.
Yep.
Okay, anyway, so their whole fucking mission was get to Jane and inject her with something that was going to get the Reality Stone out of her.
It was a
Natalie
device
Portman
that
did
sucks it
reprise
out.
her role.
And
Yeah.
and Thor basically
Chickens
had to woo her. That was the plan.
Yeah.
You had to like woo her and everything.
Distract her.
Distract
basically.
her while he does it.
And he happens to see his mom and he realizes this is the day she's gonna die and he has an
breaks
actual
down.
panic attack.
He breaks down, and even after that pep talk with Rocket, after he smacks him, it's like he just disappears.
Yeah, he can't. He just can't emotionally deal with any of it.
And then he runs into his mom.
yeah,
Who instantly fucking knew that he was.
You're
from
not
the
my
future.
Thor from here.
And
You're
I love
Thor-
her explanation. It's just I was raised by
By witches.
Witches.
Yeah.
And I'm just
She
like,
taught
holy
me-
fuck, that's rad.
yeah.
Yeah.
She taught Loki everything he knows.
Yeah.
like
It's like you're not the stealthy one. You should leave that to your brother.
yeah, like she sneaks up on him like instantly because
Yep.
she's who taught Loki to be sneaky to begin with.
Yep.
Yep.
And yeah, like she's basically acts as his therapist, like, and you see why he misses his mom so much.
Yeah.
like you get it.
She was the wisest woman in the realm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And,
So-
and she's obviously very actually like, you know, supportive and whatnot.
So while she's red couching Thor, Rocket sneaks into the room and just jabs Jane and runs from all the
Yeah.
guards.
Yeah.
While Asgardian guards are chasing him.
Which we haven't noted that Rocket gets a new outfit after the 5-year time skip, and it's like his original outfit. From
I
the
love that
comics.
outfit.
Yep.
It looks so good. He's
like
got
red
a little
scarf and stuff.
I
Got a little
also
scarf.
love that when Rocket's being chased by the Asgardian guards, they actually say, "Stop that rabbit."
Yeah.
They mistakenly call him a rabbit as well.
And yeah, so like Thor just has a nice little talk with his mom, and his mom's like, "Don't tell me about what's gonna happen to me. Like things
I'll
are gonna
accept-
happen the way
yeah.
they
I make
happen."
peace with it.
Yeah.
And
then that was the shortest fucking time trip out of all of them, and then we cut to space.
well, no, we don't cut to anything yet because Thor makes sure to summon his hammer first.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
He gets Mjolnir back.
Firstly, to see if he's worthy, and then to take it with him.
Yep.
Like he
and
steals
I'm
his
just
own
like,
hammer.
wouldn't that fuck up history super hard?
Which we will come back to.
like the reality gem, reality stones. Presumably, he has to also bring that back. Which
Oh, we never. Oh wait, no, we did describe. Bruce gets the fucking
Yeah.
yeah.
time stone.
We covered it.
Yeah, with the ancient one, yeah.
Yeah, and so like they go in and they do that thing at Asgard, and then next is the space group.
Yep.
Who
Morag and Vormir.
yeah, which they land on Morag first, and then send off Nat and
Clint.
Hawkeye to go off to
Vormir, yeah.
Vormir. Which if they had sent anybody else, this actually would have gone way worse.
Yep.
But for reasons that we'll cover.
Oh yeah, and you know what? I didn't even think about that. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
And one has to wonder if Nebula knew.
Yeah.
But they
Speaking of which,
yeah, so they just
actually-
wait for Quill.
Real quick.
Hmm.
Can we take a small break?
Sure.
I mean, sure.
I didn't need to pee this bad during Endgame, but I actually really.
Well, we've both been drinking a shit ton of water.
Yeah.
and I
so.
could use a cup of tea or something.
All right, so yeah, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna come back to space. All right, back to space.
So 8 anuses.
yes. The one behind his knee,
All right, so
that's where he hit his weapon.
The one when he opens his mouth and it's in the back of his throat.
Morag.
That's called the bussy.
They're
No, the Thussy. The Thussy.
they're on Morag, which is the planet that they opened on in Guardians 1
To get the Power Stone.
to get the Power Stone that Quill grabs. So they just wait around for Quill, basically, Nebula and Rhodey.
You know, if they wanted a Power Stone, I'm pretty sure there are a couple of copies of the PSP version that are available online.
For like $80.
Anyway, meanwhile, back on Thanos' ship,
9 anuses.
Click.
pre Guardians, Nebula and Gamora
Fuck.
are hanging out,
Yeah.
and Nebula gets messages because she uses like her own internet network, basically.
Nebula has Wi-Fi, apparently. She's her own router.
And they find it, and
They're on
Thanos
the same
finds out.
IP. Yeah, I like the idea that they're on the same IP address, so it's like, oh shit.
Yeah, they use the same network, is what they said. And so basically,
she's been stream sniping.
Thanks, Squidward.
we find out that like okay, well Thanos is gonna figure out everything now. He literally finds out their entire plan
Yep.
and what happened.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, well I'm gonna do shit to stop these guys.
Yep.
And so Rhodey and Nebula successfully grab the Power Stone, by knocking out Quill before he gets to it.
Yep.
But
But before they start to leave,
well,
Rhodey
Rhodey
goes-
leaves with the Power Stone.
Yep.
Nebula does not.
Yeah.
Nebula gets cerebral cortex and she gets summoned onto Thanos' ship.
Yep.
So I'm a little confused, actually.
Hmm.
So why wasn't she able to go back?
Because like something stopped her.
She
in
had
her
the ring.
brain.
She was wearing the time.
The GPS
I know she was
bracelet.
wearing the GPS.
She was wearing
And
the GPS.
the other Nebula took it from her
I
after the
know she did
interrogation.
that.
She was he was asking how she like why she stopped
Yeah.
Oh, well, because
brain stuff.
remember, past Nebula and future Nebula are linked. They did something to the past Nebula which affected the first Nebula, because remember,
Uh-huh.
they're connected. And she
why was she able to do everything else but push a
no,
button?
because she was in suspended, and like the past Nebula was in that suspension
Yes,
field.
and hold on, let me finish. Future Nebula gets up and tries to use a communicator. She stands up and uses a communicator.
It's
to try and
called
talk to
warning
somebody.
everyone else,
Yeah, but why?
because people do stupid shit in a panic.
I mean, that I can get, but
It's because it's convenient for the plot. That's why.
Holy shit!
That's
Our
fair.
first plot hole.
I mean, it's not a
first
plot
plot
hole.
anus.
It's frustrating.
It's a
'cause-
nitpick. That's what
the
it is.
10th anus, the plot hole.
Honestly, there are many ways to nitpick this movie if we want to, and we will a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
But like it's not important. Meanwhile, on Vormir, Nat and Clint show up, and they run into Red Skull doing his
Yep.
thing.
So this was frustrating because I knew exactly what was happening.
Because
the
you
moment
got
they showed up.
spoiled?
Well, okay. One, I got spoiled. I got spoiled on the fact that who dies in this movie. But secondarily, how do you get the fucking Soul Stone?
Right.
And there are only 2 people there.
Yeah, it was
Yep.
one of those things that I forgot about until they were there, and I was like, oh yeah,
Yep.
this ain't gonna be good.
Do you want to know what I was expecting? I really was hoping that they would do that and it would somehow still fucking work.
What?
You must sacrifice someone you love. They push him.
Yeah, I was thinking that for a second. I'm like, I'm just half expecting to see just Red Skull.
Yeah. Yeah. And you still get the Soul Stone.
It's just a soul for a soul.
Exactly, because
It's like, it's someone you love. Okay.
well,
so,
not just that, but Clint even said he's probably making this shit up.
Yeah.
But no, they take it seriously, and he can float anyway, so they can't push him.
Yeah.
But and they basically get in a competition to see who can kill themselves first.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh
And
my
Natalie
God.
wins.
It was
Yeah,
it was
and that
it was a
wins.
suicide competition.
By the way,
basically.
can we just point out the fact that I love that they're best friends?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
They're not romantic. They're just
Yeah.
they're
super
just best
hardcore
friends.
besties?
They're
Yeah.
super pals.
And
Platonic.
that made me happy. It
Yeah,
made me
Yep.
happy
I
that
liked
when
it.
they went in, they didn't go for a kiss. They bumped heads. They just bumped heads like you are the other half of me.
It's a
Platonic.
bromance.
Non-sexual life partners.
Yeah, and that's why when they die for each other, well,
Well, they both try.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill myself for you. No, I'm gonna kill myself for you.
it was almost funny. No, scratch
It
that.
was. I laughed.
It was. It was.
It
kind
was
of funny.
It was
Yeah.
funny, but also sweet, but also sad.
Yeah.
It was a range of
But
emotions.
also
as-
the biggest pissing contest I've ever seen in my life.
It honestly was.
And eventually Nat, like, it gets down to the wire where, like,
Yeah.
he's jumping off the cliff. She jumps off too and makes him grapple.
Yeah, the grappling hook.
Yep.
Grapple up, and then forces him to let go of her, so she dies
By
first.
kicking off the cliff face, so
Yep.
she
Yeah.
can just yank her arm out of his hand.
Yeah, and so she dies. Clint gets the Soul Stone and goes home.
Yep.
I know.
So
There's
now-
there's going to be so many pissed off people on the internet.
So now what happens is they take future Nebula and they switch out her faceplate
to make her look like
eye,
the
and they
Past
send
Nebula
past
look like her.
Nebula to be a spy.
a saboteur. Yeah,
So
Yeah.
now we're back into the future.
the present technically.
Present, yes, thank
They're
you.
at the compound. They got the stones. They made a makeshift Infinity Gauntlet out of the nanofiber from the previous Iron Man suit,
Yeah, it's an Iron Man Infinity Gauntlet.
Yep.
Yep.
and
They fight over who's going to wear it, and then Hulk wears it.
because Hulk's like, well, this
I
thing
have
emits,
gamma radiation.
and this thing emits gamma radiation, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the toughest. I can do it. I should do it. So he does it, and he undoes the snap.
Yep.
He does it.
He
He
just
undoes
does
the
it.
snap, but he fucks up his arm, but not immeasurably.
Yeah.
He burns his arm.
It's set up earlier in the film that the second snap that Thanos did, like nearly killed him, and I guess that also explains why the Infinity Gauntlet was all messed up. Like it absorbed
Yeah.
the first blast basically on its own.
yeah.
But it couldn't do it twice, so it harmed Thanos the second time. I guess that's why you need a special Infinity Gauntlet, and Tony did not have that. He didn't know
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
so it just hurt Hulk a lot.
So now while this is going on, Nebula summons Thanos'
The ship. Yeah.
Yeah, like Nebula gets Thanos into the modern timeline, and he's like, "All right, so you guys, I won, and you guys are cheating."
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So it's such a great, like, the way that Thanos goes about it is, I had a plan. There was this whole thing that I was gonna do, and you've showed me that plan was actually flawed. I can't just wipe out half of all the living beings.
Because everyone will remember.
Yeah. I need to wipe out all of you assholes and start anew.
Yeah,
And make sure no one knows.
And by the way, it's not I'm going to snap and wipe out everybody. No, I'm going to murder everybody single-handedly.
well, no, he still wants to do a snap, like to
No,
undo the
hold on.
universe.
I was going to say, I want to murder everyone single-handedly and then use the stones.
To reshape.
that's not-
No. He literally says, I need to wipe out everybody.
He's gonna
He
kill.
does,
he's
he
gonna
does
kill-
not say, I need to use the stones to do it, although he might use the stones to do
No,
it.
he said he was going to use the stones to reshape the universe in his image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he was going to use it to start new life.
Yes, and I interpreted that as him saying he was going to do the normal snap, but get rid of all living beings except for himself, and then remake the universe basically, so that nobody
Without the
remembers.
memory of the first snap, yeah.
And when he said he was going to kill a whole bunch of people, it was basically specifically Earth. He was going to enjoy murdering everyone
Yeah,
himself.
Oh, yeah, well,
he did say
because he is a
nothing-
monster.
He said nothing was personal up until Earth, and now Earth is going to be the one planet.
And that's
where
the one
he's
he
like,
was
I'm
going to
to
murder
enjoy
himself.
killing
Yeah.
everything.
I've been trying to avoid the chat. Speaking about anybody in the chat during this, because I don't want to be too reliant on that, but somebody points out, he says personally wipe out all life. I interpret that as he is going to take his soldiers and his armies and do it himself.
So anyway, he nukes Tony's base.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
The-
By the
the
way,
Avengers
that
compound.
scene is terrifying.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Just blows it to
yeah,
pieces.
remember that scene from Iron Man 3 where Tony's house gets blown up? Yeah, think that, but like
More 9/11.
Cranked up to
Ground
11.
Zero.
I was about to say cranked up to 11, but
1,000 9/11s. Yeah.
But yeah, it's very Ground Zero.
11
that's what's scary about it. It evokes that imagery.
okay, fine. 11 anuses, yeah.
Yeah.
The Earth now has one.
But yeah, that happens, and everyone's like scrambling to like to get themselves back on their bearings. Clint tries to get the gauntlet to someone who can do something with it.
I won't lie to you. The fact that he fucking glass floors that compound, and the fact that anybody survived was amazing. The fact that
Yeah.
all of them survived is just over the top.
To be fair, a couple of them almost drowned if it wasn't for one of them
Almost
saving them.
they almost drowned.
And they were
I'm sorry
also-
again. Glass floored that entire compound.
Rocket
just,
was
there's
also
a
being
crater
crushed.
left where most of that
I
shit
know.
is.
And Rocket was also being crushed by that debris.
But because and they only survived because multiples of them like have super strength and shit.
I mean, yeah.
Like if Hulk wasn't there, they would have died. If Ant-Man wasn't there, they would have died.
And Rhodey had the armor.
Yeah.
So-
But that said, like Clint's killing a whole bunch of alien monsters like while saving the gauntlet.
Very alien-like, too. The
Yeah.
red corridors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's being a badass with his new samurai sword.
Being Scorpion.
It's nice to see Clint holding his own against the super
The alien threat.
the
Yeah,
alien
your
threat.
first
like-
thought is that he can't handle them.
I mean,
and
like,
it's
the
oh,
poor,
he kills them.
the poor fucking dude that got shafted out of the last movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he got shafted in the first Avengers movie, and they've desperately been trying to fix that ever since.
Yep.
And this is the first time it really works.
Yes.
Yeah.
For Age of Ultron, they like made him a joke, and in this
Yeah.
one, they're like, no, he's not a joke. He's a badass.
Yep.
What are you talking about?
His whole big bit in Age of Ultron is that I have a bow and arrow. Nothing makes sense.
He was... It was self-referential humor at himself
Yeah.
when he said that to Wanda.
Like he was mostly a gag.
Wait a second. Am I forgetting when we meet? When did we meet Hawkeye's family?
In Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I loved that. I didn't feel like it was a joke at all. I felt like, oh
no,
shit.
but that wasn't the joke.
Oh,
No, when
The
it came to
final
action.
conflict.
Yeah, when it came to
Yeah.
action, he was a joke.
Yeah.
a little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
But in this one, they really sell him as a badass. But meanwhile, Thor, Steve, and Tony are going out to meet Thanos,
Who's just sitting there waiting.
waiting for them. Yeah.
Yeah, I like when he's waiting there, and Nebula's like, "What will you do?" Wait.
Yeah. So while everyone else is trying to get the Infinity Stones, Cap, Tony, Thor, and Thanos just duke it out.
And
Yeah.
Thor dual wielding those weapons, man.
Yeah.
The Stormbreaker and Mjolnir was so sick.
Yeah, let me tell you, one of the coolest shots in that entire film is when fucking Tony opens up his back.
Yeah.
Like, and it basically is to absorb power. And it's like, all right, do it, Thor. And Thor uses the lightning, and Tony uses all that power and just multiple blasts. It's awesome. It's so cool.
To which, even I was just like looking at Thanos that whole time when he's like spinning his fucking
Glaive.
He's spinning his dual-bladed glaive in a circle. And I'm just like, fuck you. Show me your hand that's doing it.
I think it's motorized.
Oh, yeah.
Is it motorized?
Yeah.
That was never explained. So when I saw that, I'm like, fuck you. Your fucking stupid-ass ham hands can't move that fast. Your sausage fingers cannot move that fast, you fuck.
You cheating grimace reject.
He was in ROTC.
See, they didn't tell me it was motorized, so now it makes sense.
He was just a color guard. Like. But no, like there's a pretty cool fight. Like they're doing combo attacks and all this shit.
Yep.
But it looks like everybody's on the ropes, and then all of a sudden Thor's hammer just starts moving.
Oh yeah, okay. So
I think this got the most cheers.
Yep.
Honestly.
It definitely got the most noise out of Scott.
okay. So can I say? The
Yeah,
scene
go
since-
for it.
Okay,
Go
so
ahead.
yeah, fucking out of nowhere, Thor's hammer starts to move, and it ain't Thor moving it. And I wasn't exactly sure what was happening until it flies into Captain America's hand.
Because he's worthy.
Yeah, because he's worthy. And the noise I made, I'm not even kidding with
You
you.
gotta do it again.
See,
so
the
hard.
noise I made was literally,
Yep.
Everyone in the movie theater stopped and looked at you.
And then they clapped. They're like, okay, I guess this is important.
No.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah, people have no fucking idea what's happening. Oh yeah.
The nerd likes it. That means
Congratulations, Scott. You're a trendsetter.
look, the fact of the matter is, it was a scene that everybody was waiting for. And
Yeah.
as a huge Captain America stan, watching him being able to use Thor's hammer, which he canonically can do, I fucking...
as soon as I saw like Cap was there, Tony was there, Thor was there using both of them, I was like, okay, this is when it's gonna happen.
Yep.
Because then they can both have a weapon. And it turns out Steve's really good with Mjolnir.
He's just a natural with it. He even knows how to just fling it as well. Just,
Yeah, like
he
like,
could fly with it.
he was
And
he was
also
like
fucking knows how to summon lightning.
yeah, he just knows how to do it, and like he's using like the shield and hammer in tandem,
Like a
super
like
fast.
a fucking cleric.
Yeah, I'm
man.
sorry.
Isn't
but-
there like one fucking bit in the fight where he actually gets the axe instead, and Thor's just like, no, wait, no, that's mine. Swap
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, you
no,
get the
yeah,
little
it's all
one.
later on. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Steve uses it like a badass. He uses the vibrations from the shield to like mess with
Thanos' posture. Yep.
Yeah.
by
Oh,
hitting
yeah.
it with the
Fuck,
hammer.
ruins him. It is amazing.
Yeah, he starts wiping the floor with Thanos until Thanos figures out his shit and like
Yeah.
gets,
Then
gets the
Thanos
upper
just goes,
hand again.
hey, fuck that shield though, rip it apart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He destroys the shield.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. When I saw his glaive just like shredding his vibranium shield, I was half tempted and half expecting Thanos to mention what his glaive was made of, and it was gonna be adamantium. Something in the back of my head was like, he's gonna say that's an
Well,
adamantium
'cause
blade.
You told me the first thing you thought of is that when Steve takes the first hit to his leg. My leg!
My leg.
But before we get to the next bit, like next big bit here, there is a scene where Clint is tricked once again into thinking Nebula is
Good. It's the good one, but
Yeah.
it's actually the past one.
Yeah.
and she's about to take the
gauntlet.
Infinity Stone and kill Hawkeye, but good Nebula and
Gamora.
past Gamora, who is not dead and also has never met any of the Guardians, shows up,
Yep.
and they try to talk good past Nebula down.
You can change, blah blah blah.
But she says he won't let me, and then tries to kill Gamora, and Nebula does not hesitate.
yeah.
Yeah.
Future Nebula just
She's
shoots her
not gonna.
past self.
She's not gonna let her sister
Right in
get
the
taken
fucking
again.
heart.
Basically,
Done.
Yep.
Yeah, and which is a great scene.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Nebula literally kills her past self
Kills herself.
is such a great metaphor.
Yeah.
Holy
Without
fucking
hesitation.
shit.
Yeah.
Just-
well, as soon as it's threatened that she's gonna lose Gamora again, she
Yep.
can't
I
take it.
said, looks like the Tin Man actually gets a heart after. Okay, never mind.
Which, by the way, I'd like to talk a little bit about Gamora because we kind of like breezed past the fact.
Yeah, we
that
didn't even talk about how
So,
you know.
Yeah, so Gamora, since we're now talking about a version of her that isn't dead from the past, she's in here, and yeah, she's from 2014.
So she doesn't know Peter or any of
She
them.
doesn't know any of
This
them.
was pre-prison break.
Doesn't know,
But she's always opposed Thanos' plan.
yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
She's always hated Thanos.
She's always been against this sort of violence, and the moment she sees a chance for her to be sisters with Nebula, she fucking takes it.
Yeah,
Yep.
immediately.
Which is, I think, so telling of Nebula's character. Like, I'm sorry, Gamora's
character.
Because we see that through all that violence in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, that leads them to finally calming the fuck down and having a conversation.
They both just wanted to be
that's,
sisters.
That's actually what they wanted.
Yep.
That's what Gamora wanted. And when Gamora said, I was pushed and I didn't know what to do because I was scared. No, that makes sense. So when
when people in an abusive environment do what they can to survive, right?
yes,
Yep.
exactly. And so when she sees, wait a second, this version betrayed Thanos. I want this sister.
Yeah.
This is fuck you. Like ended relationship with old sister.
Well, she tried to
my new
save.
sister now.
She tried to save past Nebula.
Yeah.
No, she did. She tried. She tried.
But Nebula was still feeling, that she was under the control of her
Thanos.
abusive father.
Yep.
And luckily, I'm really glad that the stuff with Gamora and Nebula is in here because it really does counteract the whole like, oh well, Thanos like what Thanos did was love, and it's like no, like the movie. Now we can definitively say the movie was not saying
Thanos is a dick
I don't
Yeah.
think, okay, look, I don't think anyone the people that got upset over Thanos killing Gamora kind of completely
no, not killing Gamora, but some people saw it as the universe justifying like what Thanos did as actual love, which I'm thinking definitely not the case in this.
Well, I would
and it's
definitely
more
I would definitely say that the feelings he felt for her were deep and passionate and solid.
but he was still wrong, and what he
But,
did
yeah.
was not a good positive
yeah,
version of
there-
love.
that might have been a version of love, but you can have toxic love, baby.
Yeah, but but it's still evil, and this movie makes that case pretty clearly. So we can at least look back on it.
There was never a question for me that it was like
some,
toxic.
some people like they were worried about that. And
You
I think
make
this
love
movie,
for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
but yeah, so past Gamora is good, and future Nebula is good, and old Nebula's dead, and then Steve is standing alone against Thanos.
Which, by the way, name a more beautiful shot.
That
in
shot was
entire
great.
movie.
I literally thought to myself, that's a
That shot was
amazing
dope.
shot.
Captain America
that-
walking forward towards
Yeah,
Thanos'
and
army.
an army coming in behind Thanos.
Oh my god, I
I want that
painting
as
of
I want that as a print, and I want that framed and hung on a wall.
yeah,
Good wallpaper.
it was great. It's one of those things like, okay, this is why the Russos. This is part of why the Russos stand out, is that above everyone else, they really go for like we want this to stand on its own. We're not recreating a comic book shot. This is our art.
This is
basically.
our 2-page spread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like Steve is standing alone against an entire army, and then all of a sudden Falcon comes in his
in his
earpiece.
ear.
Yep.
And he just says, "On your left," and
Fucking
Doctor Strange's-
Doctor Strange.
well, and all the other wizards,
All the sorcerers, including Wong.
a whole bunch of portals open up, and like literally everybody walks in like through the portals and into the scene.
Anybody who's ever fought in a film that isn't dead from the previous Marvel films shows the fuck up here.
Yes.
And it's nuts. It's insane.
It's literally everyone,
yes,
including Peter Parker, which they really
This is fucking Smash Brothers, okay? Everyone is here.
Yeah.
Peter Parker, Scarlet Witch,
the Pims.
the Pims, like everyone.
Vision's dead.
Yeah, not
As
Vision.
that I said that wasn't dead.
That wasn't like snapped.
Yeah.
Okay, fair.
The people who not every the Snap people are there, but yeah.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
The really dead people.
The murdered people.
Yeah.
Like Loki. He's fucking dead.
Yeah, Loki's.
Oh no, he's not.
Yeah,
Well,
for now Loki's dead.
Yeah, for now Loki's dead.
Yeah,
Give
but
it a bit.
with that fuck up.
Yeah. What were we saying? Oh yeah, but yeah, everybody comes in. The
Yep.
Pims are there. Like
Everyone
all of
fights.
Wakanda's there. I think Black Panther's the first person to walk out of a portal. He's like, yeah,
Yep.
we're here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, like just fucking yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Like seeing our boy back is so good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So then cue, this is the ultimate showdown of Ultimate Destiny songs.
Yeah, just-
Fuck.
It's just an insane war between Thanos' army and everybody everywhere who's a good guy fighting.
Look, when this film didn't feel like 3 hours, but by the time we got here, I was like, oh my god, are we actually about to have a full-on war? There was this part of me that was like, there's no way they're going to actually have the whole war. They have the whole war.
Yeah, and and there's the like MacGuffin chase with like people passing off the
Playing
Infinity
hot
Gauntlet.
potato with the Infinity Gauntlet.
That is, oh my god.
Yeah, first it's Hawkeye, then it's Black Panther,
Then it was Peter.
then it's Peter who uses kill mode to just kill a whole bunch of
Yeah, activate kill mode.
instant kill mode. Yeah,
stab.
And if it weren't for the fact that
he's literally
like-
in a mountain of bodies by the end of that.
yeah,
Yep.
if it weren't for the fact that these are basically feral ghouls
Yeah.
that are attacking
These
him,
are-
it might be there
Yeah.
might be a moral thing about the
No,
fact that
these
he's
are just straight up dogs of war.
Yeah.
These
And
are
also, Peter knows the
beasts.
stakes in this case.
Yeah,
Yeah.
also that. But yeah, fucking Peter's suit goes into kill mode, and it's those arms spring out and
mechanical
start
arms.
stabbing.
Stabbing the shit out of every monster that comes near
Right
him.
through their heart.
It turns into a fucking scene. Like, so say you put up a god character in Totally Accurate Battle Simulator and put him up against 50 other dudes. Those 50 other dudes are gonna pile up around the
And that's
one
exactly
person,
what happens.
And that's
Yeah.
what fucking happens.
To the point where he's like drowning in it, and
He's
then,
like, I got it.
and then like
Yep.
every other Avenger is helping Peter, and it's like
Yep.
it's like almost the symbolic of like Peter is like the the future of the Avengers.
Yep.
There's
Yep.
something I want to talk about real quick.
What's that?
So, one of the coolest shots and all that. Like, okay, sorry, the line that right before the war starts. What was it? It comes from Captain.
Oh yeah. This is the first time they ever
Avengers.
say Avengers Assemble.
Yep.
And guess, you know what frustrated the shit out of me?
What?
Someone's phone went off during that.
Oh, that was behind us, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was me, but here's the thing: I got a brand new phone, so it was an iPhone that rang behind us. It was doing its alarm.
I wanted to get up and fucking throw something.
Yeah,
at
it
that
happened
person, I
right
swear
when
to
he
God.
said Assemble.
Well,
Yeah.
what's funny is, and I know some people were blaming us, like, nah, motherfuckers. I always put my phone in airplane mode when I go to see a fucking
I just saw
movie.
someone on our end like checking their phone.
That was me.
because he
that's-
thought
yeah.
it was his.
I thought it was
Yeah.
mine, but I bought an Android, and it was an iPhone that made that noise. So I'm just
Ah.
like, oh fuck, wait, it's not me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was mad about that.
But yeah, like we got our first Avengers Assemble of the entire series, and like all these people are Avengers. That's really cool.
Yep.
And the first moment that made you cry, Scott, right?
Oh, okay. No, the first. No, okay. So I cried a couple times during this movie. A couple times, 3 times. Three. I what? You cried 4 times?
No, you.
You.
I think that adds up to 14.
No,
with
listen.
all your hands.
This is how many anuses he still has right now.
So the first scene that I cried at. The first scene I cried at was actually when Peter finds Captain America. I'm sorry, Iron
Tony.
Man. Tony.
When they reunite?
Yeah, when Peter finds Tony on the battlefield and goes over to him, the moment that happened, I start tearing up.
And when Tony just straight up hugs him and he goes,
Yeah.
oh, this is nice.
Yeah, Tony just goes in for the hug, and for the first time in 21 movies, you just feel like Tony gets something back, like truly and 100%.
Yep.
So overwhelmingly that he's overcome with emotion and hugs Peter, and I fucking lost it.
And
It's
when you think about it, this is the first time he's tried to help people, and it hasn't blown up in his face.
yeah,
Yeah.
The first time ever.
Like he was hesitant about even doing this in the first place.
Yeah.
But he realizes that the thing that finally tipped him over into even trying this crazy fucking plan is back in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. It's spectacular.
Yeah.
And I cried. I didn't cry hard, but I did get
No.
to that point where like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's fast forward because the rest of it's just a fucking fight.
Yeah,
scene.
but fight scenes, everyone's cool. Captain Marvel shows up from space.
And just destroys the flagship.
oh yeah,
Just
fucking-
flies right through it.
The best part is you don't know what's happening because the ship, because fucking Thanos is like rain fire. What about our soldiers?
Just do it.
Oh my god, dude! are you
While
kidding me?
Scarlet Witch is about to tear him to pieces.
Oh yeah. By the way, Scarlet Witch is fucking Thanos up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like which by
She
the way
can literally
is,
alter reality.
which
So-
is
Yeah.
accurate. The
Yeah.
fact that Scarlet Witch at her full capacity can fucking take on Thanos.
she is still not full power.
No.
Yeah, that is accurate. It was awesome, but yeah, at that point, Thanos is like, "No, you need to open fire. I don't care about our own fucking troops." Like
She was literally ripping
Yeah.
him to shreds.
rain hell.
Yeah.
And it does, and everyone's getting fucked up. Barely, our heroes are barely able to hold their own.
Yep.
And then
But
suddenly,
it's just
for some
because the
reason-
wizards are there making shields,
yeah,
basically.
and it's only because of the Doctor Strange wizards are basically giving them shields, and then suddenly the guns stop shooting,
And they aim somewhere else.
and then start shooting into the clouds, and everyone's like, "What the fuck are they doing?" And even I was confused. I'm like, "Why the fuck are they?" And then you see a fucking meteor, and I'm like, "Oh!"
It's the Lady Jet plane herself.
Yep, and then fucking Marvel, Carol Danvers plows through the fucking
Destroys
ship.
the entire
It's
ship.
almost
it.
almost like an inverse of the famous scene from Independence Day with the White House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just whoosh, just a clean line through the flagship.
I mean, she could have used like, okay, you alien a-holes,
I'm back.
Yep.
Did he say assholes or a-holes in the movie?
A-holes. Or
Yeah,
no, he
yeah.
just says, hey, it's like, hey, boys, I'm back.
Yeah. So she shows up. She's fucking shit up. She's gonna get the Infinity Gauntlet from Peter.
Yep.
And then he's like, and then you know he sees a whole army between her and getting to the Hank Pym van that has the
quantum tunnel.
quantum tunnel with the time machine in it because they need to get that back to the past.
Yeah.
Yep.
And also make sure Thanos doesn't use it.
Well, their first plan was to suck everything back through the time machine.
Yeah, the normal one that
Yeah.
they used, but it got broken.
And the normal one broke, and then they went to his van, and then Thanos throws the fucking glaive through it and destroys it. So now they have to go to Plan C, which is what we're getting to now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
So
for the moment, Captain Marvel wants to go through an army. And,
okay, let's
talk about this bit here.
Let's talk about this scene. So we have Captain Marvel back, and she goes over to Peter, and Peter's like, Peter Parker, Carol Danvers, you got something for me? And he hands her the gauntlet.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the first thing he says is, I don't know how you're gonna get through all that though.
And my first thought was like, she's Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
She's Captain
It's not
Marvel.
hard for her.
No, there's no way that Captain Marvel's not like we already saw her literally destroy a dreadnought.
Yeah.
What in what world is she not going to be able to go through a army of fucking throwaway soldiers?
Yeah.
But okay, it's fine. If the film wants to give her some cover, that's cool. Then the film does something that okay, I'm not mad about this.
No.
I'm not even upset about it, but
It's cheesy more so than the rest of the film, and some people will see it as patronizing.
Yeah.
And as condescending.
Which trust me, look, after and let me put it this way. I will say this though. And I'm going to be really honest with you. Our first female led Marvel MCU movie was the one before this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the fact that they decided that no, we're going to have a scene that emphasizes
highlights our
that
female
highlights
heroes.
all of the women in this MCU, that part didn't bother me necessarily.
No.
The only thing that bothered me about it is that it's so
The
obvious.
presentation is
the presentation
like
is
having
like
them all posed together.
it's like, hey guys, we've got all the girls here, including Mantis, which I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
What
Mantis
the
is
fuck
worthless.
is Mantis going to do in this situation?
Just hop onto people, latch on them, make them feel sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
The
this-
one asshole she grabs before the other 5 million jump on her.
And trust me, I'm the guy who absolutely 100% is all about like, I love.
like Quinn brought up that a great version of the scene would have been like the exact same thing, basically, just
Yeah.
without all the posing.
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
all the women coming
the
in and helping her.
introduction to it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
the part that was
the
like
very slow.
Yeah,
pull
I
to
like
that.
I like highlighting all the female heroes and stuff.
All right, and
just the way
pan
they
to
did
the
it.
right, and pan to the right, and pan to the right, and pan
Yeah.
to the right,
If-
and fight.
Yeah, if it had
No.
like just shown them all fighting,
Yeah.
like, just the prelude. Was
putting the focus on the female characters was never the problem. I would have been totally okay with that. It's just that opening scene is
Yeah.
like laying that peanut butter
where,
on
yeah,
thick,
it's
and
a
I'm
bit
like, ugh.
it's a bit like girl power, right, girls? And it's
Yeah,
like,
and-
that's condescending.
Yeah.
It's but then again, okay, I'd like to put on 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, no, we're all guys.
Yeah.
Four cis white hetero. Okay.
Two of them are heterosexual.
Two
Yeah,
heterosexual.
Heterosexual.
So, yeah, like I'm not gonna say like if there are people out there who love that scene, good. I'm glad. You know what?
Good, yeah.
I honestly am.
I just
because-
know that some people will find it.
yeah.
condescending.
Honestly, I want that scene to for all the people out there who want more female superheroes,
Yeah.
male,
Yeah.
female, doesn't matter. If you found that scene and you liked that scene, you were like,
Yeah,
fuck
great.
yes,
Yeah.
cool,
Awesome.
I'm
Trust
glad.
me.
There's
I
a
just
part-
think it could have been executed a bit better.
I agree.
I agree.
Because look, there is gonna be some outcry for a couple of elements in this movie. There will be people who bitch about like that will be one thing, and then what happened to Natasha will be another thing. I know people are gonna nag about that
yeah.
because people have been wanting her to have her own movie.
People could consider that. Well, she's still getting her own movie.
And there's
but-
one.
Right.
And there's one more that you actually said, Scott. You were one of the few people, and I was just sitting there going, they really didn't use it, huh? The fucking scene from the comic. Where fucking Hawkeye shoots Ant-Man on the arrow.
I feel like we're never gonna get a chance to do that scene again. I feel like
Both
we're never
characters
gonna-
are alive.
Yeah,
So
well, they're both alive, but I don't know if we're ever gonna get Ant-Man and Hawkeye back in a film again after
Ant-Man's
this.
definitely going to stay in the Avengers.
I mean,
yeah,
and Hawkeye has gotten a new lease on life, really.
yeah,
But I don't think he wants to go back as an Avenger. But yeah,
No.
that scene wasn't there, and
He seems to never want to come back, and he comes back anyway.
Wait,
so-
Yeah.
wait. Somebody said that they did in Civil War.
They did
When did they do that?
in the airport, like a prelude to the airport scene.
Oh,
they
that's fucking right.
They did do that.
Okay.
You know what? I'm glad that I looked at the chat so we can catch this before
Yeah.
the comment section
That's right.
rips us
Yeah.
apart.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? You're right. I completely
They
forgot.
saved it for Civil War instead.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes
I'm sorry.
sense.
You know what? Thank you.
Anyway.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Okay, so now
Yeah, we can get to the point.
Yeah.
let's get back to what's going on. So everyone's scrambling now that time travel's no longer an option. They're scrambling to get the gauntlet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, shit, we need that gauntlet now.
Yeah.
We need those fucking, and it is.
Thanos catches up to Captain Marvel.
Which, by the way, their fight is brutal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
'Cause-
like she can mostly kick his ass, but he's smart is the thing.
He's a
Yeah.
smart fighter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a little bit more brutal and
she's
dirty
stronger
than
than
she is.
him, but he knows how to fight.
She's not stronger than he is. She's on par with about him, and
I
that's,
guess, yeah.
which is nuts. By the way, Thanos. I don't know what Thanos is or how Thanos is as
Titan.
strong as he is.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's a Titan. He's basically a godlike being like Thor.
Yeah.
But I say she's definitely stronger than him because there's a point where he headbutts her and she doesn't seem to feel anything.
Yeah, no, that's true.
It's again, he's just a smarter fighter.
yeah, the fact that he headbutts her and she doesn't move.
She doesn't flinch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that does kind of say, maybe she is way stronger than
She's
him.
more
Holy
powerful,
shit.
but
Hi,
he
Superman.
knows
How are you doing?
He knows how
Yeah.
to throw people off their balance. He's like that's a scene with the Hulk where he's fighting the Hulk, where Hulk may not be weaker than he is, but he knows how to fight the Hulk.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the Hulk is brute
Yeah.
strength. And it may have been a similar situation with Captain Marvel.
So-
Again, it's a I won't lie to you, like it's a great fight.
Yeah.
But as we see, even she can't stand up to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, not when he's like outmaneuvering them and
Yeah.
Yeah.
like one-on-one he beats everybody.
Yeah.
So now cut to Steve trying to fix the problem. He doesn't fucking do anything. Cut to Thor trying to fix the problem. That doesn't do anything. Cut to Tony.
Is that how that?
Yeah. It went Carol, Steve, Thor, and then Tony.
Yeah, and like everyone's trying,
And
everyone's failing. And
Tony is just when we cut to Tony is just frantically just grabbing at that gauntlet, trying to keep
Yeah.
Thanos from wearing
Yeah.
it.
and Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
like,
we should mention that Doctor Strange looks at Tony
And just holds his finger up.
Because meanwhile, Doctor Strange is actually busy because, like, basically, if they're in a crater. They're
Yeah.
in a fucking
Yep.
20-foot deep crater
Yeah.
below sea level, right next to the goddamn ocean. So he's the only guy who's keeping the water at bay after, like, the dam gets destroyed.
Yeah, he's like a little tornado.
Yeah, so he's making a fucking tornado over there, a typhoon, just to make sure that the water doesn't flood them all.
Drown everyone. Yeah.
And he looks over to Tony,
and holds up one finger.
which
By the way, we should also mention real quick that Pepper Potts shows up in the
Oh,
rescue
right!
armor.
Yes.
She's
Yeah.
Iron Woman.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's called the rescue armor in the comics, and like it's
Yeah.
blue armor and looks great.
I won't lie, I popped the biggest fucking boner when I saw both
Tony
both
and Pepper fighting
together.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, you beautiful
Super spouses.
Oh, it was
relationship
so-
goals as fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so good. I was in heaven. Look, I kind of brushed over it. The scene where the war starts
Yeah.
is unbelievable.
It's way better than Civil War's fight.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
And Civil War's fight was cool. This one,
Yeah.
This one is on a completely different level.
It's visually engaging. It's huge. It gives you all the fan service in the world.
All of it, every bit of it. You see everybody just go crazy, just
and not in an eye
wild.
rolly way either. Just like it's
Yeah.
just
So
like
everyone's here and it's like, oh fuck yeah,
Yeah.
let's go.
Everyone
Yeah. One-liners left and
everyone
right.
was digging it. Like the entire audience was digging it.
at some
Yeah.
point I noticed this and I could have sworn I saw somebody in the Iron Patriot armor and I don't know who it was, but someone was in a red, white, and blue.
No, that was
big-
Rhodes. Rhodes somehow got another suit.
No, he was in his normal suit, wasn't
Yeah.
No.
What? Really?
No, it was a different suit.
Shit.
he? Oh,
I'm
so
not
someone
sure.
someone brought the Iron Patriot.
Someone
armor
brought
to
the
him?
Iron. Someone brought the Iron Patriot armor.
Okay,
to
yeah,
him.
his suit was broken, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Okay, so it must have been him. I was confused about that, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at one point during the fight, Iron Man's like, "All right, so is this the one in 14 trillion chance we win?" and Doctor Strange's like, if I tell you what's gonna happen, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, yep, that's how that works. Don't tell him. Do not tell him.
Don't ruin
And
the
you know,
surprise.
and big line to remember is like as everyone's dissolving, in Infinity
Endgame
War.
now.
Yeah. Well, no, him saying, "I'm sorry, Tony. This really was the only way."
Oh yeah. So that line, "I'm sorry, Tony."
Yeah,
is-
it has more significant. It had.
Yep.
I thought of this like a year ago, and then I actually ended up thinking that, oh well, maybe Tony's not going to die in this movie. But I should have thought back to that line because that line makes it pretty clear that he's sacrificing Tony for the greater good.
Yep.
Because yeah, Tony grabs the gauntlet.
He scrapes the gems off the gauntlet.
Yeah. By the way, sorry, to go back to that, to Infinity War, his line was, "If I have to choose between, saving the world and you, I'm going to choose saving the world." And he does.
Yeah, it seems like a character arc where he ends up appreciating them more than the world. And it's like, no, that's not what's going on.
No.
Yeah.
He's a Sorcerer Supreme. It's his job.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the fun, you know what was funny? People saying that it was a plot hole, that are an inconsistency.
Really? They didn't
Oh,
get that
dude,
it was
there were
a
a lot
plan?
of dude. You have no idea how many people I knew who was like, "Why the fuck would Doctor Strange give him the stone?"
Because it's the only way to win.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And I
Yep.
told them, dude, do you not remember what he said? Where he looked through the future and saw the single plan that could win? Pay attention.
And now he
Yep.
can never do that. But
He
he can never do that again.
No, he never do it again.
So they grab they get the
He scrapes the stones off.
yeah, Tony
Thanos
steals the
snaps,
stones.
nothing happens, and then Tony snaps.
Yeah, Tony turns his Iron Man suit into an Infinity Gauntlet,
Which is awesome.
which Thanos says a line that you hear a couple times, which is "I am inevitable," and then Tony responds with,
I am Iron Man.
and then boom.
Which, by the way, yes, I was like, say
Everyone
Iron Man,
cheered.
say Iron Man, say Iron Man, Iron
Yeah.
Man. Everyone cheers.
Yeah, everyone cheers. Which, by the way, it's a great line for Robert Downey Jr. to go out on too, because that is a line that I believe he improvised for the ending of that movie.
Oh,
Yep.
really?
Oh, nice.
For the first Iron Man movie, yeah. He improvised that line, and Kevin Feige was like, "No, that's great." So he does the snap, which is it's very very much established that like even Hulk can barely survive doing that.
Yep.
But he does it, and all of Thanos' men turn to dust, and Thanos turns to dust, and Tony is
dies.
mortally wounded. Yeah.
He was dying.
Dying, yeah.
He had time to kind of make peace with both Peter and Pepper.
Yeah, Pepper says it's okay.
You
We're
can rest
yeah,
now.
we're safe.
We're gonna be okay. You can rest now. We got this.
Yeah, and Scott is over the side.
Oh, here's the thing. I give him so much shit for
He's-
crying. Here's the thing. I give him so much shit for crying.
It made me a little weepy.
I had to. I was holding that
holding back
shit in.
tears.
Scott's holding back tears right now.
I was the silent weeper. It was kind of like you make that grimace like frump, but you're crying.
Yeah,
That was me.
my eyes were watery.
I was eyes watery and like that, like when you feel like after you throw up and you have like that chokehold in the back of your throat?
Yeah.
Like when you have a sinus infection or something? It was that for
Yeah.
like 5 minutes
A lump in
straight.
your
Yeah.
throat,
Yeah.
eyes
Yeah.
watering.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was feeling it. Like,
Yeah.
like we're making fun, but like we just don't wear our feelings on our sleeve like Scott does.
So, look, as I said, this was 20
21.
20/21, depending on whether or not you want to count this movie.
Saga.
It's 21 movies, all culminating in this moment. And
Yeah.
Tony Stark, like, look, fuck the original Hulk movie. Nobody cares about the original Hulk movie. The first real MCU movie is
Iron Man.
Which it was before that movie anyway.
It wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It wasn't. Hulk was the first. Hulk was the first.
Okay.
Am
I just
I
Robert Downey
wrong,
Jr.
folks? Am I wrong?
Hold
I
on.
feel like you are, but
The Incredible.
Oh, 1 month. 1 month before. You're right. Okay. You know what? Then guess what? My point stands. Tony Stark is the main character of the MCU.
It started with Iron Man
of this
and-
era of the MCU.
and
yeah.
this era started with Iron Man, and this era ended with Iron Man.
Yep.
Iron Man
and-
and Cap. Yeah.
What a fucking send off
Yeah, like it's the completion of his character arc that's been building for years.
I said over and over that Tony Stark was going to die in this
All
movie.
those, but
And
the thing is,
everyone fucking argued with me like, no, he's not going to die. He's signed on.
I saw a reality where he didn't, but it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and everyone was like, he's not going to die. He's not going to die. He's not going to die. I'm like, fuck you. He's going to die. Do you see him in those Spider-Man trailers? No, you fucking don't. Because
Right.
he's dead. He's going to die because the way Tony Stark's character has gone throughout all of this, Tony Stark
Thanos
has
is
been,
his enemy.
Thanos, everything about Tony Stark led up to this moment, and I'm like, he's going to die saving the world, and that is the best way he can go out.
Yeah.
It is absolutely 100% the culmination of his character arc, and it happened, and it was perfect.
Yeah, and again, like this is the only time ever he's going to have done something to help people,
Yep.
and it doesn't, and he's not a fuck up.
Yep.
and what's great is the way they wrote lines around that scene. It's very meta. Again, we're gonna be okay. You can rest now.
Which-
It's the send off lines telling the two top tier, the two leaders of the old Avengers, we're gonna be fine.
I'm
you
sorry.
can you
That-
can rest now.
That line,
That killed me.
yeah.
That killed me.
The you
so
can
much.
rest now.
Like
And
no,
Gwyneth Paltrow did a great job.
yeah, and just telling him, it's like you don't have to worry about us
Anymore.
And
You
it
can
wasn't-
rest now.
And it wasn't about the Avengers. It wasn't about Earth. It was about her and her daughter and their daughter.
And Peter.
And
Yeah, but ultimately it was her saying,
her and Morgan.
you don't need to worry about us. We're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Which
That was a straight up gut
that
punch.
that killed me. That
that
destroyed me.
That hurt. I could hear, not just you.
There's multiple people.
There were people. I heard
yeah.
a lot of tissues sniffling.
yeah, and
at
I was
the
crying.
right moment.
Yeah, that was the second time
You
I
didn't
cried.
stop after that point.
No, I did. I
You
did.
did?
No,
Okay.
Stop.
There was a point where I stopped, and we'll get back to when I started again.
We'll get to number 3,
Yeah.
spot number 3 in a minute.
Yeah, where I lost when I lost it. Because here's the thing: at the Tony Stark scene, at Tony Stark dying, I definitely cried, but I managed to recover that, and it
Yeah.
wasn't too much of a scene.
Yeah. But what happens later on that we'll
but
get
so,
to.
So Tony dies, and it is a painful, but altogether, it was the right thing to do. I
Yeah.
think, like narratively, him dying there was perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it works.
Yeah.
And like and you see all right, the world's saved, the world moves on, like it like they find a sense of normal again. Peter goes back to school. Thor goes to New Asgard and is like, you know what, Valkyrie, you're the real leader here.
I'm gonna put you in charge.
Like, I was supposed to be the king, but that's not who I am.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go find myself with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
The Asgardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but Valkyrie being the new queen, I'm about it. I'm 100% about it.
Absolutely. And like if she gets her own movie at some point, that'd be great.
I will say, you're a much better leader. What says who? Like, okay, look, I like Valkyrie, and if she wants to be an awesome leader, that's great.
Yep.
But going off of Ragnarok,
Well, yeah, but they make clear that she's been leading while Thor was in his slump for
Stupor.
5 years.
Yeah.
Really?
They
Yeah.
made it very clear. Yeah.
They made it very
In
clear
his
that she was.
in his gamer pad playing Fortnite with
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
She was leading the Asgardians the entire
to,
time.
To be fair, I guess she is the one who kind of put that all together while he's been out of it. So
Yeah.
if we want to go off the fact that literally that entire area exists because of her, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I'll
and
believe
presumably
that.
she's the one who led the Asgardians back to Earth
Yeah,
after stuff happened.
And,
Yeah.
and trust me, I love Valkyrie. Valkyrie is actually like in one movie shot way up my list
Yeah.
of favorite characters.
and
so-
basically Thor just went back. Like, she's probably so lenient with Thor on his drunken,
Yeah.
like finding himself thing, because that's where she was before he found her.
Yeah.
yeah, you're not wrong.
She can sympathize with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She like she didn't judge. So Thor leaves with the Guardians of the Galaxy to go hang out with them. So presumably the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie that's already been scripted includes Thor.
Which I am about, and I hope that's
After Ragnarok, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Not just that, but it's Thor. It's the Guardians of the Galaxy, Thor, and
Nebula.
Adam Warlock.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Adam
Warlock's
Warlock.
gonna be in it.
Yeah, I'm
Presumably as a villain at first, but
I mean, that's kind of how he was in the comics because he, because
I don't know.
the
I don't
people
even know who the fuck Adam Warlock is.
He was actually the person that defeated Thanos in Infinity War.
Really?
Yes,
Yeah.
he's actually Thanos' equal in intelligence and in strength.
Huh.
He's interesting,
Not huge into comics. I know enough to be dangerous, but I'd be lying if I said I was an expert.
And this is just me saying you should do a little Googling. He's kind of an interesting character.
But yeah, so like it sets up that like, all right, Thor's hanging out with the Guardians of the Galaxy now. He's at least making a show of respecting Quill's authority. I think he's trying, but
He's
he
kind of
also,
patronizing him too.
Yeah, he's trying to not like push himself into a leadership position that he thinks he's not good for.
Yeah.
But he also kind of naturally wants to do it.
You know what's weird? Like, so I'm gonna say this flat out: the writing for Peter in both these movies, I hate it.
Really?
I hate it.
Yeah, that's interesting because I believe they even brought James Gunn in on the writing for that.
I know, and that's why I'm frustrated. I'm like, Peter is the most insufferable character in both these films. And that's
is it just because when you put him next to the actual heroes, like that's who he is?
He becomes this petulant child again, and I'm like, his development from 2 kind of starts to dwindle, and I'm like, damn it.
Let's just wait till Guardians 3.
Yeah, hey, look, I'm sure Guardians 3 is going to be great now that they got James Gunn back. Like they fucking should.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, so that happens, and then there's a big old funeral for Tony.
Yep.
Which, that
where they just pan like this big shot. They just pan
everyone in his life,
including
the kid from 3.
Kid from Iron Man 3.
So if you saw hopefully you've seen this movie.
We warned them plenty. All right.
Yeah.
During the funeral scene,
11 anuses.
There's this kid,
this random kid.
This
You're like, who the fuck's
random
he?
This random teenager.
It's the kid from Iron Man 3.
Yeah, once Scott brought that up, I was like, oh yeah, that's but at first I was like, who the fuck is that? Is he some like Easter egg for later? What the hell? Like, no, he's from Iron Man 3. That makes sense. And when I thought back to his face, I was like, oh yes, definitely.
And would it make sense from fucking when you were saying before, like, well, who is it? Is it the kid from that? And I'm just like, when you said San Francisco, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, the kid's from like bumfuck nowhere, Wisconsin.
Yeah. He's in Middle America somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, so there's a big old sad funeral, and then like Steve is gonna head off and do the time traveling stuff in order to put all the stones back where they belong.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and we get into a big goodbye to Steve, like with Bucky and Falcon, and Professor Hulk sending Steve back in time. And
I like how they made a mini.
Yeah, the
machine.
mini portal.
Yeah,
it's like just for one person, not for a bunch of people.
And like Bucky seems to be saying goodbye a lot for it just being a
5-second trip
for Buck, like from Bucky's perspective. But then Steve just doesn't come back after 5 seconds like he was supposed to.
And then they look off into the distance, and there he is as an old man sitting out looking at the lakefront.
And Bucky seems to have been aware that this was going to happen.
Okay, you seem to think that.
Yes, I'm 100% confident that Steve told Bucky about this beforehand.
Because they're besties.
And Bucky says, I'm going to miss you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, go ahead, Scott. Tell us what the big send-off is as Falcon is talking to Steve, old man Steve. Oh, my God.
Okay, so I wasn't expect. Okay, so I'm going to level with you guys. I got spoiled on Natasha and
Clint.
Tony.
Oh, Tint. Okay, well, I thought
Natasha,
you meant the scene.
Tint?
Natasha and Tony dying.
Okay. I thought
I was spoiled on their deaths.
Right.
I was actually in Lanny Bator / Nick. I was in his stream last night, and some people decided they wanted to spam with spoilers, and it was really shitty.
Yeah.
And I got spoiled on that.
Luckily, it didn't ruin the movie.
It didn't ruin the movie by any means. In fact, the fact that I still love this movie really just tells you, like, yeah, even knowing that, it does not take away from this film. I mean,
you can't ruin this movie with a one-sentence spoiler.
Yeah.
I didn't know about what happened with Steve. Yeah. And I was the person who said my bet was that they were going to kill / retire Tony and Steve. I was like, they're moving the old guard because they've done 20 of the like we've had 21 films. They want to start moving these actors on.
Yeah.
Like they need to start like fucking Robert Downey Jr. and Christopher Evans have other shit they need to be doing.
Yep.
But I didn't see this one coming. So yeah. After Steve goes back in the future and they're like, he's not coming back. Why isn't he coming back? Bucky sees an old man sitting at this
bench by the
lakeside, and he immediately recognizes what's going on
and gestures Sam to look.
Yeah, and gestures Falcon to go over there and talk to him. So he walks over, and we see an old Captain America.
A Captain America at the age of 90.
Yeah, at least 90.
Do you want to
Hold on. Let's do
Okay.
the cute shit first,
All right,
and then I'll
wholesome stuff, then
yeah.
japes.
Yeah.
Wholesome stuff, then japes.
All right, now finish with the
And
wholesome stuff.
he's sitting there, and it's immediately obvious what happened. And I like Sam was all like, something either went terribly wrong or very right. And Steve tells him, I was thinking I would try some of that life that Tony told me to start getting. And at this point, I'm in tears.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just full on in tears.
Oh, I was getting weepy too.
Because again, Captain America guy. I'm that, like, top to bottom from the very beginning. Captain America 1, 2, and 3 are my favorite MCU films. I don't care what anybody else says about their quality of the first or the third. Fuck you, they're my favorites. And this was the end. We see this man who got what he deserved in the best way. He went back to the past, and he finally got that dance. At the end of Captain America, before it cuts to black, he says, "I had a date." And that's one of the best endings out of the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe, just flat out. And here, he saw a chance to live that life he never had, and he took it with no consequence to anybody. And he went back and he had that dance.
He got his happy ending.
He did. And you know what? Everyone wants to talk about sad endings or bittersweet endings, but life sucks. It is a shitty place to live in right now. And the fact that he got his happy ending, the fact that he got to have that dance and live the life he wanted to.
They fucking got married, for God's sakes.
Yeah. And I'm so happy because and he gives Captain America to Sam. He's like, nah.
He
it's
gives him the shield.
when
He
Sam-
gives
when Sam
Falcon
says-
the shield.
Sam says, "I guess Captain America's over," and without missing a beat, Steve's like, "Actually, I was thinking about that." Gives him the shield, and he's like, "Here,
Try it on.
try it on."
And he goes, "How does it feel? It feels like it belongs to someone else." And he goes,
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
And Bucky is like, "Yep, that's yours."
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
and again, Bucky seems very aware of what's going on,
Yeah.
and that
And
he knew before.
the fact that you realize that he actually married Peggy was when he shook hands with Sam, and he the classic two-hand thing. You see
The wedding ring.
and he goes, want to talk to me about her? He goes, no.
I don't think I do.
and then it just cuts to the past.
And it cuts.
Dancing
and
in
it's
their
just,
home.
It's just dancing.
Yeah,
Just a slow dance.
And then a kiss, and then cut the black.
with a romantic song from like the 50s or 60s.
Yep.
And I couldn't,
Ah.
man.
It is so good. Trust me.
And the other two times I cried. Like the first time I got teary eyed. The second time I cried a little bit.
Then he
Third
weeped.
time I was full on
Sobbing.
sobbing.
Yes.
Just
Ugly crying.
uncontrollably ugly crying at this scene because
It's a culmination of years and years and years of build up
Yeah.
and tragedy.
Again, going back to what I said about this movie, we're all satisfied now. Everything's like just kind of at ease.
Someone asked, "What about Hawkeye?" Hawkeye goes back to his family.
Yeah, he goes
Yeah.
back to his family.
oh yeah.
But yeah, just such a lovely note. Very just.
Yeah, it's very
Rich.
appropriate, that's why people didn't clap. It just didn't feel like the moment where you
No.
clap.
No,
It just
no, clapping would
seemed like a
ruin
moment
it.
where you take it in.
I'm so happy nobody
Yeah,
clapped.
you just soak that in. You enjoy it. You finally get to see Cap back in his time with the woman he loves, the life he wanted, and he did his job.
Yeah, he's rewarded for basically being a good person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's awarded for being a guy worthy of Thor's hammer,
Yep.
Yeah.
putting himself through the ringer,
Which presumably
saving
he
the
put
world.
Thor's hammer back where he found it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
yeah.
Is that when he went back to the past, he gave Thor's hammer back. But I just cannot tell you how much it hit me, and it's weird to say you cry at a superhero movie, but it's not at a movie. And that's why I cried at Logan. You have these films that had built up for years and years and years, with hundreds, thousands of people working on them.
These movies are a generation's childhood.
Yeah, these are a new monolith, and to see it come to an end, it's insane. It's just flat out insane.
Guys, we're walking into another decade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Children who were 10 years old in 2008 are going to college.
Yeah. Let that sink in.
Mm-hmm.
They spent their formative years watching this, and then this is the culmination of it.
This is their Star Wars, man.
Or this is their Star Wars.
For me, I imagine like for me, it was a thing where when I saw Toy Story 3, I was about to go to college. It's a great time to see it.
Yeah, I bet.
And I imagine it feels a lot like that, where it's like this hits you a lot harder than you thought it would. If you've really felt like you've been on the journey with these characters.
Yeah.
Okay, now to kind of go back to that moment with Steve.
Back to jesting.
Okay.
I have to say it.
Cool? Are you cool, Scott?
Go ahead.
Are
Okay.
you cool? Okay.
So
Ruin the most beautiful moment in the film.
No,
for
we
me.
absolutely fucking 12 anuses.
see, that ruined it. Now, here's the thing. The makeup was a pretty good job, even though I could clearly tell it was Chris Evans.
A lot of digital as well.
Yeah.
But god damn it, does an old Chris Evans / Steve Rogers look like fucking Joe Biden?
And
that bothered me.
And I said, when you fucking said that out loud, the first thing that came out of my mouth, thank God I wasn't the only one who thought that.
Yeah, I was just like, at first I thought, I'm like, is that fucking Joe Biden?
I wasn't even paying attention. I was just looking for Chris Evans under it, basically. But
Under the Biden, there's a Chris Evans in you.
Visually, I'd say look more like fucking Mr. Rogers. But when he started talking, I was like,
appropriate.
oh,
I kind of just broke chat a little bit by saying that.
I was going to say, when he started talking, though, visually, I'm like, that is definitely an older Steve Rogers. Then he starts talking, I'm like, and that is definitely a CGI'd up Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. And you know what? Steve's not dead. He's just very old.
Yeah.
He's retired. And
Yeah.
that's the
He's
thing.
around.
Yeah.
He's there. He's
And,
just
and him being retired, which, is perfect. I honestly thought that after all this was over, like a lot of the original Avengers needed to take a step back and let the new guard take over.
And looks like they will.
And
Yeah.
I'm also loving that the MCU is now becoming the modern present day Marvel comics.
Eh,
I'm not saying completely Secret Empire, but Captain Falcon is now Captain America.
Yeah.
Valkyrie is now her own thing. You know,
Yeah, well,
Sans War of the Realms.
And unlike Marvel Comics, because of the nature of film and having actors and stuff, the MCU has to progress. It can't just keep taking one step forward,
Which
two
I'm
steps
so
back.
fucking glad that
Yeah.
that's what's going to go.
We
That's what's
basically
coming from
eliminate the
this.
worst part of comics.
Yeah.
yeah, comics, the one writing medium where there's no such thing as a third act.
Yeah, like you can't actually have stakes in modern American comics, and luckily the MCU means you have to have some version of stakes because there has to be endings to these stories.
Yep.
And I that's what I really appreciate about the MCU is like gives you all the stuff you like about comic books, but you also they have no choice but to actually create a satisfying ending
Again,
for these arcs.
Catharsism.
Catharsis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It almost sounds like a religion.
Catharsism.
I did say that.
That sounds like a fucking political ideology. Oh, I'm a catharsisist.
Catharsisist?
Yeah, I subscribe to catharsis.
Listen, my religion is going to be all of us feeling good and 13 anuses.
So many.
Are the
penises.
anuses involved in the feeling good?
Well,
I mean, that's your call.
That's a
Is that how you
spiritual
feel good?
choice.
Is that,
Steppin'.
is that how you feel
Oh, it's
good?
a choice?
It's a spiritual
It's
choice.
a choice!
Why, you homophobe?
Where the fuck? Where's the choice? Okay, pinpoint. Show me on the doll where the choice goes.
Well, I apparently have 13 anuses to choose from.
Scott Kaiseneko Frerix, it's a choice.
Hey.
Didn't realize we had a fundamentalist on this.
Oh fuck!
Oh my god.
and with that, I think
Yeah, I think we're done.
I think we're
So,
done.
well, no. Let's give our final thoughts.
We
Yeah.
did in the non-spoiler version,
No,
though.
but now we can.
What if someone only watches this video?
Yeah.
All right,
So-
fine.
So Zito, with everything we said, spoilers free, spoilers like,
Out there,
yeah. Just say how you felt about this film.
I walked in not feeling like I would enjoy it and feeling like it would just be another, okay, I'm going to a superhero movie. I'm not going to get anything major out of this. I may as well just enjoy it because it's a stupid popcorn film. And surprisingly, it wasn't. And they made it a swan song in the best way possible. So, good on them. I'm happy to know that I'm going to walk into these next new couple of films not with Marvel fatigue again.
You're gonna feel a little refreshed because it feels like something
I'm going
ended.
to feel refreshed.
It's a new book.
It's a new book.
Yeah.
As someone who went to school to make comics for a living.
So we're about to go from the Harry Potter series to
Fantastic Beasts and
Fantastic
Where to
Beasts?
Find Them.
I guess.
This-
You're talking to someone who's not really a big Potter fan.
yeah,
which is
no,
funny
no.
because I'm a Lord of the Rings
I
fan.
just set you up for failure there. So just
Yeah.
ignore what I said.
Don't worry about it. In any case, it's a good film. It is a very nice, very good film. It has the best of everything the MCU has to offer. You will enjoy it.
Brian.
Yeah, like I said, after Captain Marvel, here's the thing: I love movies. I love going out to see the cinema. I love the movie going experience. I love film. I spent 6 years of my life in college learning this stuff. That's why I'm working here with these guys. I love this shit. And Captain Marvel did kind of wear me down a little bit because, you know, it's a lot of movies. It's 20 plus movies. This one was a nice second wind. It's like a jog when you get tired and then that second wind kicks in. It's that second wind when you see the finish line at the end. And you're like, oh, fuck, it's right there. It's the last quarter mile. And you just muscle through it. And again, I was happy, satisfied, relieved. A lot of loose ends got resolved. Some in a good way, some in a sad way, but in a narratively correct way. And yeah, here's the thing. I don't own a single Marvel movie. I've seen them all. Even after seeing Endgame, the reason I don't own them is because they still stick with me. I know most Marvel movies by memory. I don't need to own them because I've seen them enough. They stuck with me in one viewing. There's not a single Marvel movie I saw multiple times. I saw them all once, and they all stuck with me. This saga stuck with me, and seeing the end to this era was satisfying to me. So...
I remember seeing the first Iron Man film and being thrilled by it. It was so funny. The action was awesome. The special effects actually hold up incredibly well. I don't know if any of you have returned to that film, but they were very, very studious with their use of practical effects and making everything just work. It's exceptionally well made for its time, and especially considering that up until then, let's be honest, superhero movies,
Garbage.
95% of them were just garbage,
or campy cheese.
Yeah, kind of the same.
Who remembers Howard the Duck?
Who remembers the Joel Schumacher?
Who remembers Blade?
Who remembers Fantastic Four, the Fox ones?
Who remembers Superman Returns?
Yeah, that was all right.
Yeah. I mean, you had X-Men. And X-Men 2 was actually pretty good. X-Men 3 was garbage, though.
Yeah.
Good thing they're remaking it.
No. Iron Man was really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And that started this huge, not even a domino effect, just a franchise. This epic. An epic. It's a fucking epic.
And no one gave a shit about Iron Man before.
No one gave a shit
2008.
about Iron Man.
People were being very dismissive about it.
And to see it develop, grow, evolve, become this cultural phenomenon, and it is 100% a cultural phenomenon,
yeah.
not just in the United States, but all over the world. These films are worldwide successes. To see these just dominate culture and become a mainstay for moviegoers for over a decade has been amazing. It's just been it's been spectacular in every word, meaning of the word.
And these are annual
Yeah.
spectacles.
Oh yeah.
every year we had a new chapter in this saga.
In each Avengers film, it tried to act as kind of this big climax, this culmination of its previous phase. And here, it's the end.
done.
I will say this again. This is the end. Everything after this is a new story. It really is. It is we are starting again after this.
Yep.
This is the end of Iron Man, of Captain America, of Black Widow, of the traditional Thor, of all these people. This is the end of a lot of their stories and the narrative we have followed up until now. And that's amazing. I can't believe it. I feel like when you review Infinity War and Endgame, you're kind of reviewing, like, you're looking back at a history, because these films are 100% informed by everything that came before them, and you can't ignore that. So when you say that these films are successful, you're in a way saying that the MCU is successful, and that's incredible. That's insanity. Like, some people will talk about Marvel fatigue, and they'll talk about some of these films not measuring up to the rest of them. Some will try to say, some will say Thor Dark World sucks, and it does. They'll say Iron Man 2 kind of sucks, and it does. Some people will say Captain Marvel sucks, and in some ways it does. But there were things that these films did, beautiful, amazing things that influenced our culture, that influenced cinematography and cinema in general.
It started a new generation of filmmakers.
Yeah, it is.
I'll even say this is thus far the only successful cinematic universe.
Yeah, the only, if you want to be honest. I mean, the DCEU might have made money, but let's be honest. By and large, it's kind of
not what they wanted.
The only one.
Garbage.
Star Wars is like the
No. Star Wars was it was kind of its own thing in the beginning, anyways. Like, the only one, when you're talking about like success, is the MonsterVerse from Legendary. It doesn't
even that hasn't really started yet.
It doesn't have that many for a saga.
It's about to get to its third movie, so.
And no, it's a trilogy.
Yeah.
They even said no, it's just straight up a trilogy. It's not. They're not trying to do 20 movies. They're just telling a 3-movie plot.
Yeah.
But yeah, like,
to end my thought.
Yeah.
This is a, we keep using the term swan song, and there's just nothing more appropriate. I'm so happy that I got what I wanted out of this movie. Which makes me sad, because kind of a parallel is actually Kingdom Hearts 3. I feel like Kingdom Hearts 3 is actually a decent parallel of, I've been waiting for the ending, and then I got it, and I'm like, I was just happy it was over. To where here, this was satisfying. This was amazing. This was spectacular, and I'm so happy. It's not perfect, but it could never have been perfect, honestly, and I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Yep.
And for my part, I'd say, yeah, I really liked it. I'm very happy with it. It might be in probably my top 5 MCU films, especially since it made good on so many things. And the writers, McFeely and the other guy, who unfortunately I don't remember his last name, but the two writers deserve a lot of credit for, as well as the Russos, who were part of the writing process. They all deserve a lot of credit for somehow making all these different stories coalesce into this one film and paying it all off satisfyingly for almost everybody. Like, some people won't be totally happy with all this, but most people are going to be pretty satisfied with how the story was told and how these stories ended up.
Yeah.
And that is a miracle almost. Like
it is a monumental achievement.
To in the general public's eye, this is successful.
Yeah.
That seldom never happens.
Yeah, it's hard to get more successful, especially with so much writing on it. And I'd also say that if someone decided that they wanted to stop watching all MCU films right here, I would get it. Because if they want to end on a high note, I'm not sure it's going to get higher than this.
I won't lie to you. It's going to be hard to watch the next.
The next movie's a Spider-Man movie, so I'm going to watch it.
Ah, fuck, you're right.
It's Far From Home. It's coming out this
With
summer.
Mysterio.
And that's how they get you. It's like, oh,
wait,
you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio.
I am ready to dive headfirst back into Marvel.
Yeah, there you go. That's how they get you. The next movie in the next
Is
era
the
of
young
Marvel
blood.
is Spider-Man.
Yep.
Fuck
And,
yeah.
and it has Mysterio in it, and yeah, of course people are gonna fucking watch that. they have you by the balls. So there's no stopping until you don't end. You end on a low note, basically. But let's not talk about the inevitable decay of everything. Let's talk about the good things.
Entropy is inevitable.
Yeah. Let's talk about the good things, which is this movie is very good. Some people will hate it. Those people will be few and far between. I think most people are gonna be very happy with this.
Yeah.
And it felt like everything was earned, either within the movie or without it. It felt like they earned everything they got, and that is quite a feat.
Yeah.
Man, I think that's it for me.
14 anuses. I'm just saying.
And with
Two
that-
a day.
and with that, I believe we are done. We almost made it
We
tonight.
can vamp for that 20 seconds now, just
If the 13, if the thumbnail for this video is not an ass in some way, I don't know what the fuck we're doing.
Thanos. Quinn's like Thanos.
Quinn, I've been saying that for like fucking all day.
You're
Come on.
in the building.
You're in the Quinn. Thanos.